hold on to that hope. Hey, everybody. We are skipping bonus content this week. Just a heads up. Apologies, it's my fault. You can be angry at me because I went and I waited in a drive-through line. And
Where did you even go?
I went. I don't want to talk
Nah, keep it to yourself.
Where did you go?
Nah, keep it to yourself.
Where did you go, O'Neal?
No, keep it to yourself.
Well, I mean, like, I don't want Tony to think that I'm dodging the question.
Nah, dodge the question. Do it.
I went to one of the several garbage fast food options available to me.
Okay, they're all garbage. So which one did you pick?
That wasn't Taco Bell this time. And then the one closest to me is still down for construction, which it seems like it's taking.
This means nothing to me.
Well, there's one that's near me. It's like right around the corner, but like they're like expanding the inside of it, which means that it's closed right now. It's very frustrating. And I thought it would be open because it's been like 2 months of this.
So hey, where did you go again, by the way?
I went to the Golden Arches.
Oh, okay. All right. I heard they got nugs there.
They do.
Is that what you partook in?
A little bit of nugs. We're on
just a little bit of nugs.
At least 10. And you can thank the Golden Arches for your delayed podcast, man. It's my fault. You can thank me. I apologize, lovely listeners. I even scheduled tweets today, like one at 5:30, one at 7:30. I was very prepared, and then when that other tweet went live, and I was in a drive-through, I was like, "This is probably gonna take longer than I wanted to." Anyway, let's start the show. It is Friday, December 1st, 2017, and you are listening to the Irrational Passions podcast. I'm your host, Alex O'Neill, and joining me this week is Scott Guthier.
Hello.
Tony Horvath.
Dude.
And Brian Nobishin Jackson.
Greg rules, okay?
Hey guys, welcome to IP. Welcome to December, the last month of 2017. Mazel tov. We made it.
Hello.
Almost. Yeah, I know. It's flown by, hasn't it, Tony?
Yeah.
This has been a fast year, I think. Are you guys excited to possibly sit down and record podcasts for up to 10 hours at once?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think with this,
I could be convinced.
We haven't talked about it logistically a lot, but I think this year will be fine. I think it'll be fun. We got a lot of games to talk about. It's that season. We are in the last month of the year, so we're kind of talking about game of the year.
We're all gonna fly out to Hawaii and sit on the beach and sip mimosas while we talk about games.
Yeah, it's our annual tradition.
Yeah, it's been every year till now. So.
Every year, when you listen to our 5-part game of the year extravaganza, we're all in Hawaii on a beach. The audio quality is honestly astounding.
Yeah, it's kind of a miracle that we're able to pull it off like we do.
Yeah, but it's the commitment to...
Yeah, somehow Scott pulls through for us every year, you know?
Yeah, he really just carries the weight. He is our rock. He's the rock of Irrational Passions podcast.
I've been told. Yeah.
He is the Dwayne the Rock Johnson of Irrational Passions podcast. So yeah, we're game of the year is coming up. It's December. Video games have kind of stopped coming out as of today. The last big one of 2017. There's a couple other ones, but
Xenoblade came out today.
Xenoblade Chronicles 2 came out today. It's a big one.
Ukulele comes out later for the Switch.
Yeah, usually December 15th, I believe, for the Switch. 14th.
Gang Beasts has a release date.
Yeah, Gang Beasts, the video game, the myth, the legend. Is actually the full title of Gang Beasts. That's December 15th, right? I think that's what I was thinking.
Think so.
And Okami HD is coming out.
Oh yeah, fuck.
And then PUBG.
Where you guys play that at?
I think I told you this, but I'm probably gonna buy it on both.
Okay.
I will play it on PS4 because I've gotten the platinum on PS3. So it's the easy platinum trophy. But
only the easy platinums for Alex O'Neill.
Well, that's not true. There's a game that I played this week that you can get a platinum trophy in one playthrough, and I missed one thing. And
Nice.
I'm so pissed about it.
I know what game you're talking about. Too.
Yeah, you do. But yeah, it's kind of wrapping up, but there's still like kind of too many video games coming out in December because that's 2017, the year of the legend. So yeah, if for folks who have like tuned into our Game of the Year content before, we're gonna be doing stuff. It'll likely podcast wise be coming out in January, so you got some time to think about it. But I do want to say this, just as like here is the kickoff to our housekeeping. We typically do some guest content for Game of the Year, and we're still doing some guest content, but we are not doing it exactly the same way. I want to throw this out there though. We're doing stuff a little bit different, and I'm going to keep the hosts here know it. The writing team knows it. But I'm trying to keep it a little bit on the download for now. But if you have played any of these 10 games and you would like to talk about them in a spoilery, generally positive manner, feel free to reach out to me directly. I'm going to list off these 10 games right now. The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, Nier Automata, Hellblade, Mario Odyssey, Wolfenstein 2, Danganronpa V3, Persona 5, What Remains of Edith Finch, Destiny 2, and Resident Evil 7. If you've played those games, and you
Can I
would
make
like...
an audible?
What's up?
Can I make a last minute audible?
Sure.
Since we do have a spoiler cast of Persona 5 out, mind if we switch that out for Night in the Woods?
That'd probably be okay with that. Just doing it on the fly. We're doing it live. I can live with that. Because I feel like our Persona 5 spoiler cast is all encompassing. The only thing about Persona 5 that was going to be different is it was going to be a completely different cast.
Sure.
But I'm down with that.
Thank you.
So Night in the Woods instead
Night
of
in the
Persona
Woods.
5.
Thank you.
I know you are passionate about that game, Nomishin, so
Very much so.
which is good. Resident Evil 7, Destiny 2, What Remains of Edith Finch, Night in the Woods, Danganronpa V3, Wolfenstein 2, Mario Odyssey, Hellblade, Senua's Sacrifice, Nier Automata, and Breath of the Wild. Those 10 games. Please reach out to me or George Cruz at jcruz Alvarez 26 on Twitter, or Logan Wilkinson at Lefty Logie Loggy on Twitter. So, if you were curious or interested about possibly discussing those games, and we will get you as a part of it. I'm gonna put together like a little thing to invite guests and stuff on. But yeah, we're gearing up for Game of the Year. That's fun. That's exciting. I think that's all I got. As far as housekeeping goes, over on IrrationalPassions.com, some cool stuff has gone up. There's a new episode of Input, as per usual. They talked about the NCGP, which is like some video game like rating thing. I was not even familiar. The National Committee for Games Policy, and it's like some kind of possible troll thing, but we'll see. I have not listened to this episode yet, but apparently George Cruz laughs so hard at this National Committee for Games Policy thing that it like was alarming, and they had to leave it in the show because it was so funny. They also talk about the Destiny 2 stuff that we'll probably get into a little bit tonight, and Gazillion Games shut down as well. So that's worth a listen. Always listen to Input. And if you hadn't listened to it yet, the Persona 5 spoiler cast is now out in audio form. So that's up on the same podcast feed that this is on. You can go download it for your listening pleasure. I put some music in there, cut it up a little bit, cleaned it up a little bit. I reference George Cruz Alvarez for the music options for that, the audio version of that, and then I ended up listening to the Persona 5 soundtrack for an hour and a half. And it's very good. I just want to throw that out there. If you had forgotten. So, that's it for housekeeping. Let's talk about video games. I want to talk about video games with Tony.
Okay.
Can you feed me video games?
I can't feed them to you, but I can talk about some.
Sure. What you been playing?
So, have you guys heard of Black Desert Online?
Yeah, I'm very familiar with it thanks to you on this podcast, actually.
Yeah. So I've been playing that.
How does that game treat you? I'm just curious, like, when you play Black Desert Online, Tony, are you
Yeah.
happy?
Yeah, I like it. I left Scott this week, and I feel bad about it.
This is the most convincing yes
It's
I've
fine.
ever heard. That's fucked up, though, Scott. Is it really fine?
It's fine.
Okay. Scott, do you still regularly play Black Desert Online as well?
Yeah.
Okay. I just wasn't sure.
Of course he does.
how
You
do
think
you-
Scott's some kind of filthy casual?
It's true. How do you feel about that game? Does it make you happy, Scott?
I don't know how to answer this question in detail, so I'm just gonna say yes.
Okay, that's an acceptable answer. You could have actually just stopped with I don't know how to answer this question. Okay.
But anyway, yeah. What I mean is, I left the guild that Scott and I were in to join a much stronger guild.
Jeez. You're a traitor.
I know I'm awful.
Yeah. Well, I mean, are you making way more money now?
So the funny part is, I technically couldn't leave the guild that I'm in yet.
Okay.
So maybe eventually I'll make. Well, yes. Okay. Starting next week, I will make way more money than I'm making now by being in that guild, and also be way more successful in PvP. But there's a dumb situation with how the game is coded that has technically trapped me in the guild that I was in before for the rest of this week until next Sunday. So it's been interesting.
I just like I just don't understand that game, Tony.
Okay.
What's here's an idea. I'm gonna pitch you on some hashtag content.
Okay.
When that game comes to Xbox One, I say you and I should sit down and you should help me make Black Desert Online.
I mean, I'm down. Are you gonna play a tamer? Because I feel like you're a tamer player.
I don't know what a tamer is.
They're basically the lolies.
I think you explained this to me. I'm just down to play like whatever the most anime character is.
That's tamer.
Okay. Then like maybe that's what's in the cards.
Yeah.
Well, we'll sit down. Maybe
Speaking of in the cards,
yeah.
There's been this excellent re-stream of the Yu-Gi-Oh anime marathon on Twitch, and I've been watching that, and it's good.
How do you think the people on Twitch get these like okays?
Because every 5 minutes there's 2 minutes of ads.
All right, yeah, that actually. Yeah,
That's how.
That's okay. Yeah, that makes total sense. Okay, yeah. I just like they did. What were they doing last week? Was it Ed and Eddie, or is that some other streaming service?
I have no idea.
Dude,
If it was that
go
Nettie,
on-
I'm sad I missed
No,
out.
that was on YouTube. That
Yeah,
was
if you
YouTube
just go on
streaming.
YouTube, they just play it like constantly. It's so weird.
It's
like
so weird.
It's
like,
great.
It's
I was
great.
great.
Yeah, because I watched like 20 episodes. Like
Yeah,
one night.
right?
But it's like they just play just random cartoon shows that's on YouTube. Just live streaming. It's okay.
You're like, I mean, are there no laws anymore?
We live in a lawless society.
Is this why the FCC wants to turn off net neutrality? Is this why the world is burning around us? I don't know. Yeah. So okay, this doesn't relate necessarily to Black Desert Online, but
No, it definitely relates to Black Desert Online because that's what I do while I play AFK activities or whatever in Black Desert Online, and it's great.
what does it feel like to have you play a video game where you typically just don't play the game?
It's actually really nice because like I can engage with the game when I want to, but then I can just be like, all right, well, I don't have to be doing anything to make progress right now. Like I don't have to be out there grinding. I could do any number of other things.
You're doing those good numbers, but
Yeah.
you're not doing anything.
Yeah, exactly right.
I'll say this because we're in December now, right? We're kind of closing out 2017. I like the different anthologies of like what's that weird video game that Tony and Scott are gonna get into this year. Like at one point, you guys were like deep into WoW. That was like what 2014, 2013. This year it's Black Desert Online. Last year I don't remember what it was. It was probably something dumb.
Hey man, it's never dumb.
No judgment. I'm just saying, like generally.
I'm just judging.
Black Desert Online seems like a dumb thing in general, not necessarily for you guys, but just for the world. I'm excited. Do you have any prospects for 2018?
No, probably still Black Desert Online.
Okay. I feel like if we hit June and we're still playing Black Desert Online, you guys are, like, then we know it's a really special game.
That it's real.
It's real. Black Desert Online is actually more real at that point than the real world.
Yeah.
Have you been playing anything else, Tony?
So I played. Let me see. What else did I do? I played some Black Desert Online. I played Dota 2.
Oh wow, deep cut.
I've got a couple friends who wanted to get into Dota 2, so I installed it, but we haven't had a chance to do it yet. So I've just been playing like the arcade mode, which is a bunch of custom like tower defense games and stuff.
Okay.
And that's great. Tower defense games are fun. So I've been doing that.
It turned into the old Warcraft 3.
Right.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like.
They brought a lot of them back too.
That's really cool.
Yeah, a lot of like the greatest hits from Warcraft 3 are in there. So just playing a bunch of those.
In the Dota 2 visual style too, that would be fun.
It's certainly more up to date, and it's got more of the Dota models and stuff in it, but it still kind of reminds me of like the Warcraft 3 textures and stuff, so that's kind of neat.
Okay.
Yeah.
That is cool. I mean, that stuff was like some of the coolest stuff about Warcraft 3 in general.
Yeah, for sure.
And thus like Dota becoming a thing and like Mafia.
I think I played the custom games in Warcraft more than I played the actual game. Actually, for sure I did that.
Yeah, 100%.
But yeah, that's a lot of fun. I've always enjoyed like the tower defense games and stuff like that. So jumping into like that now that it's been like a year since the arcade came out, or even more, so there's a lot of like well developed and like it's had time for stuff to get good. That's kind of cool. I'm not the biggest fan of how the game kind of like presents maps to you. It's more like, hey, here's all of the maps. What do you want to play? We'll make a lobby. Instead, I kind of preferred the like you play what someone's hosting. Like if you join, someone's gonna be there, and just see what happens. So that, and I think that like, when it was less moderated like that, there was also some like weird like but cool shit that kind of popped up, and was like maybe 7 people played ever, but it was still cool.
Yeah, like tree tag.
Yeah, exactly. That stuff's rad. So that's cool. It's been fun to kind of jump into a lot of those old games, but mostly I've just played tower defenses so far. That's been really cool. Other than that, I did my second playthrough of Doki Doki Literature Club.
Okay. Is there like, I mean, I understand that there are different endings to that game, but did you get
There are reasons to play more than one time.
Okay. Is it required?
No.
Okay. Good. Just so you know, I plan on playing it this Sunday because I have Sunday off.
Okay. Are you gonna stream it with no chat? Just fucking stream?
Do you want me to? I could.
I mean, that'd be cool, but if you do, I would just recommend just like do it, but don't stream it. Just play it.
Do it.
Just do it.
Be like,
Do
hey,
it.
no one's gonna be listening to chat. Just like chat, talk to yourselves. I'm not gonna look, and then play it.
So just don't interact with chat and play the game. Okay, yeah, I can do that. I was not planning on streaming it, but I can do that. Just do like a face cam of me, like just
there you go,
in a dark room.
Just a dick cam.
A face cam and dick cam.
Yeah, and Gus cam.
And Gus cam, who's sitting on the couch next to me.
And Cam.
And Cam. It's actually just like Cameron like working on homework, like not at all related to what I'm doing.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah, okay. I didn't know if you guys wanted to talk about it, and I can like take off my headphones for a couple minutes.
If you're gonna play, then it's up to Nabashan.
Nabashan, have you completed that?
No.
Okay. You've started it.
We can wait.
Scott has completed it.
I barely care anymore. I'm gonna be real with you.
Okay.
For multiple reasons.
Okay. that we will elaborate on at a later date.
I mean, we can talk about it. We can talk about it. But yeah, we'll circle back around because I wanted to talk about some key elements in Black Desert Online that have come to a head today, or not today, but this week. That's got me super excited to continue playing that game, and I know you're super excited to hear about it. So
I'm like frothing at the mouth.
yeah. But yeah, if we want to talk about Doki Doki Literature Club, we certainly can. It sounds like people in the chat want to hear about it too. So
All right, I can.
I'm protesting about this. We need to wait.
you want to wait for Alex?
Scott wants to wait for me, and you know what? That's the first time I've ever heard that. So,
That's fair.
so I'll take that. I'll settle for that. All right. I do want to just say now,
Like he does have to edit the show. There's no getting out of it.
I would just probably like skip this part. And
Well, I mean, if he's not editing the show until after Sunday, because that's
true.
the day after tomorrow.
It's true.
You were saying?
You did promise an entire playthrough.
No, I said I will play it. I didn't ever say that. Play.
Played
I
to
said
the
it'd be my
finish.
top priority,
Okay.
and I played it.
Depending on how much of the game Novishin played, I can respect that decision. And I'm not gonna make.
I
him
played over an hour, and it's just more of like it's literally just because I play those types of games a lot, and like all those characters are just tropes. They're not characters, and then
You're right. No, they're designed specifically to be tropes.
Yeah, and it bothers me. I can't get into it because of that.
That's specifically why you need to keep going.
We'll see. We'll see. It depends. It really depends. How far that you actually ended up getting. So I don't know. I would say message me like where you stopped playing, and I'll tell you if it's worth continuing or not. Because if you've already kind of gotten to like one of the main points of the story and you're not into it yet, then it's not worth finishing, in my opinion.
I just did the poetry part up to the poetry part, and I stopped.
Oh, like the first poem.
The first poem.
Oh yeah, you've got so much more. Like I would definitely recommend kind of getting past that. Because Alex, this is fine. That part of the game
I'll just zone out. It's fine.
is not the game. It's like that part of the game is specifically designed to be as like visual novel to a T, but too much to a T. That's on purpose. Like the way that you feel about it, as someone, because you're a person who played a lot of them, that's what you're supposed to feel about this part of the story. So it's okay. Like it's almost by design that you kind of don't like it so far.
I mean, I get it, but I don't know. I don't think it's worth it.
Do you know what happens later on in the game?
Not necessarily. Just like
So you
the
should
fact,
you
the
should
fact that genre it is, sure, but other than that, no.
Yeah, you should still play it, in my opinion.
We'll see.
Of everyone here, there's only one person who should play, and that's you.
Damn. I'm just gonna go take a nap, guys. Whoa. I mean, you know what? Would hearing my thoughts on it at all, as someone who kind of plays those kinds of games, I'm sure not nearly as committed as you, but would hearing my thoughts sway you one way or the other?
Probably not, honestly. I'm just like, I'm just not in the mood for it, honestly. Like I've got Valhalla, I got Night in the Woods, I got games that are similar to that I'm actually enjoying, and I don't feel like going through something half-assed to get something to get to a good part.
Yeah, I mean I get that, but I don't know. I guess if you end up with the extra time to play it, it's not that much. You're already over a quarter of the way through the game.
Sure.
So it's not like you're going to be sitting there doing the same thing that's really boring to you for more than for much longer, really.
Yeah.
Fair enough. You do, but as I always say, you do you, boo boo.
Yeah.
You do you. Okay. Do you want to loop back around to Black Desert Online at this point now, Tony, and froth my mouth?
So a new class got announced that I've been waiting to play for like 4 months, which is weird because the class has been released in the Korean version of the game for that whole time, but
that whole time being like this
like
year?
5 months.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it got announced and then came out in Korea, and then we've just been waiting for them to bring it to the U.S. So they finally like, and I basically like I'm ready to switch characters to this new character. I've got all the gear and stuff ready to go. I've just been waiting for it to come out. So they finally announced it to come out the Wednesday after next Wednesday. So I'll finally be able to do that, and that's super exciting. So
cool.
Yeah.
That's exciting. What's the class called?
It's called a Mystic. It's like a female fighter class.
Oh, okay, cool.
Kind of like Monk in D&D. You know, like they fight with fists. Mm-hmm. It's like that, but she uses her feet. She kicks a lot.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Like a kickboxer.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else? Or is that was the thickened?
That's the whole thing.
Okay, cool. Scott, you been playing anything?
Some more Flint Hook.
Nice.
I did it. I beat that other stage.
Nice. The second boss.
I beat the boss, and now I only have 2 more to go.
Cool. What's the third boss? Because I actually don't know.
I have not gotten there yet.
Okay.
But as always, the music changes per stage.
Nice.
It's still good.
Still good, yeah. That game's really good.
And it's a lot harder.
Great. That's exactly what I needed from that game.
You know how during that second one, it's like, all right, you started me off at 1s, then you went to 2s, then you went to 3s, and now I might see some 4s in there. Mm-hmm. You pretty much start at 3s.
Okay. That's what I figured.
Which, it's rough.
Yeah.
It's real rough. I haven't gotten to the boss yet.
Okay. That sounds cool, though. That game's very cool. Anything else?
Other than finishing Literature Club, no.
Okay. Cool. Naubishin.
Yeah.
So I see some exciting games on your list. I'm not gonna do that thing where I'm like, Naubishin, you talk about your games, but really talk about this game. I'm not gonna do that.
Real quick.
Yeah.
Scott, did you finish that game? Like, did you see credits?
I saw credits.
Okay. That's all I wanted to know.
Okay. Tony's just, checking all of his boxes. He's got his notepad here.
And then I tried to reset without re-downloading the game. It didn't work.
No, doesn't work.
I don't know what that means. It's fucking nerds. So Naubishin, I'm gonna just let you know. So when we loop back around to my list, my goal is to finish a game every week. I feel like that's a totally doable goal.
Okay.
And so my checklist, and I'm this is not necessarily just to Naubishin, but to all of you. My checklist is outside of the Literature Club, which I'm gonna play on Sunday because that's like not very long apparently. I want to finish Death of the Outsider, Dishonored, Death of the Outsider, Wolfenstein 2, and Pyre. And I want to finish Horizon, but I don't know where my copy of Horizon is. Update: my copy of Horizon disappeared during Extra Life 2017. Horizon Zero Dawn. Although I think my brother has a copy now, so I might be able to finish it with him.
Joey took it. Is it her copy of Knack?
Damn it, I knew it. I don't have the box, though, so, like, if someone took the whole shebang, you should open the box of Knack. Somehow the disc turned into Horizon. That's the poisonous power of Knack. It's the Ouroboros. But I finished a game this week, well, I'm sure we'll talk about. And I'm like on track to finish another one next week, so I'm feeling pretty good about that. Is there anything else I should add to that list?
I would say 9 in the list, but that's too much, probably.
Yeah, I figured that'd probably be too long.
Yep. It's taking a lot of time for me. Time that I'm enjoying, but a lot of time indeed.
Yeah, I kind of at this point I'm kind of like trying to diversify too. So you've got that. I've got a couple other things covered. Like I actually really want to play Pyre. That has become the last kind of indie game I want to get there.
Did you get that game?
I didn't. I'm going to at some point.
Okay.
But a fun fact, very bummed that I couldn't get it on Xbox One. This is the first time that's ever happened to me. but that's fine. I think it's gonna be on sale during the Game Awards.
Yeah.
So
that should be
fun.
on sale. Night on the Wood should be on sale.
So that's what I'm kind of waiting for. All right, now, Shin. That out of the way. What you been playing?
Jeez. More Mario Odyssey. I'm up to like about 600 moons now.
Nice.
Still loving the game. Just the good in between from just to play something while I'm listening to something else, or just to play that game. The game is so much fun. Really still enjoy that game a lot. Other than that, I played more Wolfenstein. Got to a crazy moment in that game. A really satisfying moment in that game too, but at the same time also really crazy. It's like a whole sequence because it's like it does like a really satisfying thing, and then it's like it just gets like fucking bonkers after that, which is a really good set piece for that game.
I saw you tweeting about it. I have been playing Wolfenstein 2.
Mm-hmm. Also,
yes, Wolfenstein 2 also.
okay.
I am. I actually don't know how far I am into it. I am. I got back on the boat after going to Manhattan.
Mm-hmm.
Is that? I don't know how far behind I am. You.
You're like like 2 missions behind.
Okay. So I've been going through that game.
Mm-hmm.
How are you feeling about it? And I can bounce off of you on this.
I'm still really enjoying that game. Like every time I play it, like I'm going at a crawl with it.
Mm-hmm.
But like every time I play it, it's just like I'm really into it. With like everything. It's still hard, but like legit hard. Not a Cuphead hard. Like, oh, that's challenging. No, this is like legit hard. But like I'm stubborn and I'm still playing on normal, and I enjoy playing it that way. It forces me to like change up the way I'm playing the game and like I diversify how I actually go through the areas. So like because there are certain sections where I die like constantly for like a good amount of time, and then like eventually I get it through after like finding my zen and like figure out how I want to like actually go, take out the enemies.
Yeah.
A lot of people suggest playing on an easier mode, but like I'm enjoying to play on normal.
You're playing on normal experienced gamer, I assume?
I guess whatever the middle option was.
Yeah, I think because there are 2 normals is the thing, so I'm not sure.
I'm not sure, honestly.
There's normal casual gamer and normal experienced gamer, which I will say I like having that option. I'm trying to think. There was a game I played recently that had a similar option. Might have been like Titanfall. But I like that option just in general.
Mm-hmm.
I've been playing on normal as well. It has been a good challenge generally, except for the last level I played, which is like at the top of a skyscraper.
Oh yeah, that took me a while.
Yeah, it took me a while, and it wasn't like a while in a fun way. It was just kind of frustrating.
Yeah, sure.
That was maybe like the least fun level, but generally I've actually been really enjoying it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure like
this time around.
So like the setup worked better. I'm because I talked to Logan Wilkinson about it. We talked about it last week. He had played the beginning of the game, and he had it kind of been bounced off of it. So just for reference, I'm going to talk a little bit about the opening mission of that game. It is available as a free trial currently. So this is not spoilers because this is accessible to anyone with a PlayStation 4 or Xbox One. So get off my back, first off. But there's a big part of that opening of the game where you're kind of getting characterization of Blazkowicz by learning about his abusive father. And that was kind of the biggest part that had pushed Logan away, which I kind of get. It is very like cliche, dramatic, abusive relationship, and it leans into
gets a
that.
little bit deeper, for sure.
Yeah, I like see that was because George, Logan, and I talked about it, and I'm like, I feel like they are going for something here, and they're going to revisit this, which, judging by the things you've been talking about on Twitter recently, they definitely do. But, you know, they on surface level, like right off the bat, that is like very much like the vibe that they put off. So that's why I'm like I went from okay, I'm buying into this to a little bit more mixed, hearing like kind of Logan's feeling on it and how off-putting that was just right away. But I'll say like them. So I feel like Blazkowicz never got anything as at least attemptedly poignant in the first game, as like, hey, here is like his mother and like his relationship with his mother, and here's his father and his relationship with his father. Like, you never really got stuff like that, and I think that does definitely flesh out him, and it kind of also like shows why violence is so normal to him. And why he's like kind of acclimated to that, and also it does flesh out his character a good deal. So I guess like from the get-go, I bought into it. I'm buying into it a lot more, and because of that, I'm enjoying it a lot more. There's a little bit of disconnect with his like internal monologue still. It's just very like it's kind of like a 80s action movie, kind of like back in the game protagonist style thing. Like, I was out of the game and now I'm back into it. And he's just kind of talking about like, I'm too old for this, I'm broken. But again, like that opening level I really like. Like in the wheelchair, like when you're just, it's like, it is like a effective video game first person shooter level. Like, I've never played anything like that. Especially like when you talk about disabled representation in video games, which there is basically none. I thought it was actually really good. So, and it was really different, and it felt different, and it worked really well for me. So, I've been kind of blazing through it. I like. I just met the head of the American Revolution, or the American Rebellion, and I really like her. So generally, I'm more into this. I'm buying into it more, and there definitely does seem to be less of that commentary. But also, like, you know, I've changed as a person. 2017 has made me feel very differently about Nazis than, say, 2014 did.
Sure.
So like the kind of
that almost sounds weird, but never mind.
Well, like, you know what I mean.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I'm saying.
I'm in a much more rah fuck Nazis mood now than I was 3 years ago, because it didn't seem as like this seems like, oh, this is just kind of over the top. Now it's like, no, fuck this. So maybe, you know, I'm a little bit more okay with the rah fuck Nazis kind of vibe of the game as well. So, you know, that being said, it doesn't seem as cartoony as it did then, I guess. And I like, I really like the dynamics between Blazkowicz and that American Rebellion character a lot. So,
oh yeah,
especially like about race, and also there's a moment where he's like, monsters did this, and she's like, no, men did this, and it's like, yeah, by the way, and like the kind of conversation about the people of America are kind of complacent under this new regime because, you know, of the kind of privilege throughout America. And I don't know, it's leaning into stuff in a very smart way that I'm very pleased with so far. So yeah, I'm having a good time with it.
Okay.
That's all. It feels good to be more into that game, I'll say. I'm not like head over heels in love with it, but I am really enjoying my time with it. Yeah, that's all I got.
All right.
Sorry, I didn't mean to like derail your talk about Wolfenstein part, but how are you? Like, are you getting any of kind of like those deeper facets out of it, or is it just more?
Oh, I definitely am. like the part I just went through, was a very poignant part. I would definitely say, probably the most poignant part of the game so far, as like, how I think about them, and and something I really wanted to happen, and it actually happened. So that was a really, that game's real good. Let's just say that.
Yeah, I agree. I'm having a great time with it.
For sure. Other than that, though, I bought Nex Machina on PlayStation. That was like $9 or whatever. That game's real good.
It's very good, right?
Yeah, it's a really good arcade game. Really fun, just fast paced, and just it's just fun. It's the like as far as Housemarque games, as far as for me, is like other than Super Stardust HD, I never really liked all of their games. Like Resogun didn't really resonate with me too much, and like I have Alienation and Detonation I really just didn't like. But like Nex Machina is like some really good shit. It's just really fun. Like a Smash TV and Stardust like mixed together. I just really like it because of that.
Mm-hmm.
Like lots of good aspects, and like obviously HDR 4K looks amazing on it too. So
I didn't even think
awesome.
of that. Yeah.
Real fun game.
It's got some fucking colors in that game.
Yeah. But yeah, I really enjoyed that game. Really fun just to play and dick around with. Other than that, I went back to a lot of games actually. Because I'm thinking about my last month before we started getting to the nitty gritty of Game of the Year. Just revisiting some shit.
Mm-hmm.
That's that's like reassessing how I feel about certain things, and like how where it stands with me, and even go back to some of the stuff that like I actually just skipped out on this year, and it's like, is it really worth me? Do I feel it's worth for me to go back to? Like I fired up Horizon, and like I just couldn't remember controls or what I was doing, or even where I was going, and like tried to clip a wall and I couldn't climb it the way I wanted to. So it was like I don't think I can go back to this. Like if I do have to like start all over again, and I really don't want to do that. Not at this time at least. So I'll probably just like take an E on that one, and maybe just go back to it eventually. Katie's been playing that game though. She loves the hell out of that game. So like I've been talking to her about it. Like she's really been enjoying it. She's ready to start that Frozen Wild DLC.
Nice.
Side note on that too. My best friend Mark and Katie, they just got themselves a 4K TV. They got it on Saturday. Yeah, on Saturday, and like I helped them bring that over and like set that whole shit up, and it looks great. But fuck, man, like there's literally no standard for 4K TVs. It was so hard just to even like to find out how to turn on like the HDR for Mark, because it still looks fucking amazing, but it was like there's certain things you have to like go through, and like you have to dig through the menus just to even turn that shit on. Cause like I brought over my Xbox One X over there, and I was like, oh, there's this mode in Gears 4 where you could like split the HDR and like see which part is not HDR and which one is HDR. And it would not work on his TV for like like the whole entire time I was there. So like, this is fucking weird. I went home, I looked it up, and it's like, oh, you have to like dig through the menus and go through the hand settings and actually turn on HDR through your TV. It's just like it's just a fucking headache of all these TVs. Like the TV I have is like the like everything's like, that's like the most plug and play one, at least that I know of, as far as like turning HDR on, and like yeah, that one was like a hassle to get through. So like I sent it to Mark and apparently he has it all set up. So like I'll bring over my Xbox again, and like we'll probably just stick around.
Now you can play games with them again, Almashin.
Yeah, I know, it's crazy, dude. Like just playing. Like we really actually, yeah, we played Overwatch together. Just fired that on.
Does that have HDR?
No, but it's gonna get like an Xbox One X enhancement to 4K eventually.
Well, that's cool.
But we were just playing on his PS4, and just sticking around in that game. No, we were playing on my Xbox. We were playing on you were playing that game again. That game's so fun, and like, and it's weird. That's like the only like crossroad of games that like we all play together, because like usually we don't play the same thing at the same time. Like Katie's right back on her Animal Crossing kick, because like Pocket Camp's not really doing it for her. least not the way that she wants to. So like she went back to New Leaf again, and like got Mark into that. So now they're actually playing together, which is great. But they're trying to get me back on that too, and okay, I don't know. I'm not really a big fan of Animal Crossing, just because I need like direction in my game. That's why I haven't really fired up games like Stardew or Harvest Moon ever before, because like time wasters are like, if I want time wasters, I think of better things to do.
You play like next.
Not I say that I'm saying that negatively, but I don't really mean that way.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah. I know it does not come from a dismissive place.
Yeah.
But like, you know, that doesn't necessarily work for everyone. I think like I like Animal Crossing, but Stardew was like the first time of one of those games that I really got into. Because I think I put more time into Stardew Valley than I did, about 70-ish hours than I did. I've put into Animal Crossing since the original one. I was much younger then, so that kind of made more sense.
I thought you were really digging New Leaf, though.
I really like New Leaf, but I just didn't put as much time into it. You know, I didn't play it for as long. And the same is true of the DS one. Like that first GameCube Animal Crossing was the one I played the most of for sure. Although now I'm like hungry for it for sure. Also,
if anything, Pocket did that, like people actually want an actual Animal Crossing now.
Yeah, for sure. 4K TV aside, I got a text message from Joseph Fate saying, "Hey, what you know about 4K TVs?" And then I responded, and then he didn't respond for 4 days, and then he responded again saying, "I was in the market for one." I'm like, "Well, make sure you get the right one." He's like, "Oh, don't worry, I did. I'm in debt now." And I'm like, "Nice." So, because I know he got a 1X, so.
Oh, I know Joe. Like, if anybody was gonna get one, it would definitely be Joe.
Yeah, exactly. So hopefully, you know, I'll be able to play some Destiny with him soon and kind of get his thoughts on it. So, although the Destiny 1X patch is not out yet, so we'll see.
Talk to Joe, see if we can get him before the end of the year, like usual. Let's try to do the Christmas one of them again.
Yeah, holiday special.
Yeah,
we probably figure that out.
He'll probably only be playing one game, but still, it'll be great. So
he'll be playing Assassin's Creed and Destiny.
Other than that, though, like I said, I've been like going through like some old games again. Like I jumped back into Uncharted: The Lost Legacy, just because. They're really just. No, I still haven't. Like not even just because. Like I was like, oh yeah, I actually want to like play more of this game. I just haven't really gotten around to it, and like just like going around through it. Like I played for like maybe like 2 hours or so, just running around and like just doing some of the side missions and stuff. And it's like, God, I really fucking like Uncharted games, and like it makes me it's like I've completely forgotten that I love those games so much, and then like just going through it again, it was like, yeah, I really enjoy these games. Like just the way they look, the way they talk, the way they animate, like everything is just like top notch with those games. And like
that was how I was with Uncharted 4. So yeah, I feel you. I saw your tweet about it as well.
Yeah, and it's just like, yeah, like fuck yeah, it's like I really just enjoy like these are my favorite type of Naughty Dog games. It's like this, like the colors and like obviously the graphics, but like that's secondary to me. And like this, like the characters and like the voice acting and the animations, and it's just like everything's on point with that. And it's just like that's why I just really love the Uncharted series and like how Naughty Dog does that.
Yeah, Chloe and Nadine too. Really, just they still show in that game.
Yeah. Played a little bit more of Gravity Rush 2. Went back to that a little bit. Did a little bit of the DLC. Yeah, you forgot that game came out this year.
I did. Yeah. I totally did.
Add it to the list.
Add it to the list. No, you play that. It doesn't count.
I know. That's why I didn't put add. But like I played some more of the Raven DLC, and like you know, I still really enjoy that game as well. Like if there's one game I feel like that probably got slept on the most this year, is probably that game. But like not that it's like a complete banger. It's not like it's like a 10 out of 10, but like it's just a really great game for what it is, and like I've really enjoyed it for what it is. And like yeah, it wasn't like in my top 10 of the year, but like as far as,
did it get bumped?
Yeah, unfortunately. Like like I was really pulling for it, and like I was like, because I've been thinking about it the entire year, and it still sticks with me a lot. But like newer games, like the stuff I'm gonna talk about later, is just like just knocked it off, and like those are really great as well. Um, went back to Hellblade a little bit. Didn't beat it yet.
Have you played that yet?
Yeah, I played like I've been on and off of it, like mostly because of my headset's been fucking up. And like I had to get it shipped to Sony, and I just got it back like recently. That's why I haven't played Uncharted or Hellblade, because like I wanted, like, I actually had like the official Sony can, so like you know, I wanted the 3D audio for Uncharted, and like you know, you need to play Hellblade with headphones, so I want like the best headphones I could get. So but yeah, like I beat like 2 of the bosses so far in that game, and I'm still trucking through it. I enjoy that game a lot, but like it's still like just somewhat disappointing for me, because like it's not really the game I really wanted at first. You know, like what I thought it was gonna be, what I built it up to be for me personally, and then like what it actually became. Not that I think it's bad, it's just like it's not necessarily what I wanted, because like I'm kind of seeking a character action game, and obviously that's not what that game is. Like,
Yeah.
But like it tells a good story for what it is. It's a little disjointed as far as like lore based and stuff like that, and like after like fucking watching Thor Ragnarok, that's really fucking up my perception of everything. So
yeah, I was wondering.
But like yeah, I still really enjoy the game. It's a pretty game. It's a cheap game, and like a lot of shit happens in that game. I enjoy it for what it is. So yeah, it's pretty cool. Did you want to talk about it?
I didn't. Do you want me to loop back around to it when I talk about games, or? So I have a lot to say about Hellblade.
Oh, okay, you can loop back to it, because the only other thing I want to talk about is the other big game.
Yeah.
Doki Doki Literature Club.
There it is.
Yeah, but like the biggest game for me like this week, it's really hit me hard this week as far as like how much I like that game is like Night in the Woods. I fucking love that game. Like straight up, honestly, it's like, fuck, if Persona 5 wasn't a game I played this year, like shit, because I'm enjoying like almost every aspect of that game. Like it just hits me like with everything, like because like I feel like everything is just like, it's not just good, everything is great in that game, as far as like the soundtrack, the dialogue, the characters, the environment, the gameplay. Even is like I just really enjoy going through that game and just experiencing everything that it's giving me. It's hitting all the right notes for me right now. Like the best way I can sell this game too is like, because like I'm surprised no one really said it, but like I think I heard one other person say it this way, but like no one really said it this way, but like it's basically just like a Western indie version of a Persona game, if you just like take out like the dungeon combat and stuff like that, because like it's not really about that, because it's about like going
so
through
you mean
everyday
it's
life.
not from
Yeah, probably not.
Probably not for Scott. Got it.
But it's like about the social interactions and the people you talk to, and like picking who you want to hang out with that day, and like just going through your everyday life, and like how that impacts you, and like how it impacts the people around you. Getting to know your best friends better, and just hanging out with them, just doing dumb shit and enjoying that dumb shit with your friends. Yeah. And like there's also like this Scooby-Doo element to it, where I don't know how I exactly feel about that right now, because I still haven't beaten the game yet, and a lot of people have told me like the game doesn't really like in the best of ways, so like not ends badly, but you know, like I'm thinking because of probably that aspect of it probably like hampers it a little bit, I assume, but like I'll see when I actually beat that game myself. But like as far as like just the general stuff, like the main thing that you're doing in that game, just like going through your everyday life and just talking to people, like I'm just totally into it. Like I just really enjoy just going through it. It's really good. It's a Brian Jackson-esque fucking game.
I like that. Is it like the characters specifically that kind of call it to you, the interactions, or is it like the premise?
It's just everything, dude. Like the characters are awesome. Like I'll tell you like this for example.
Okay.
So like I'm this girl named May. I'm this cat girl, and like pretty much you're talking to like all animals like when you're playing this game, all different kinds of animals like crocodiles or owls or whatever, and like when you're talking to them, like you don't really know what their gender is at first. So it's just like you're just talking to them. So you're just talking to them just basically as their people, and like you don't really like, even think about it until like later on. Because like I went to this party with May, and like she met like this bear or whatever, and like they were having this conversation, and you see that they were into each other, and I was like, oh, that's cool. And then like later on, like you just find out as a girl, I'm like, oh, okay, so like May was just talking to another girl, and they're like, and we're like really vibing with each other. So that's cool. That's a cool thing. And like even your best friend Greg is like his boyfriend Angus is just like it's like, oh, I wouldn't even know like you're a boy or a girl, and like I guess that doesn't really matter. And then it's just like that's a good commentary for me. Like
that's really cool actually.
Yeah, just like just not even really thinking about like people are people, and like just going through it, and you don't see them for their gender, you just see them for who they are, and like while even saying that in the game, they just do it visually and just like through the dialogue. It's like, yeah, that's fucking great.
It's actually like a really clever reason to have everybody be animals.
Yeah.
Breaking down social constructs in 2017. Hell yeah.
But yeah, I love that game.
That's really cool.
That's all my games. So.
Cool. I've been playing some video games to round us out. I'll start with the big one first because I played and finished Hellblade this week. Here's a declarative statement for you, Nabashin.
Mm-hmm.
That is one of the 10 best video games of 2017.
Ooh, doggy.
I fucking love that game. I was blown away. Because I guess, like, you know, I had watched the first in that series that Ninja Theory had done about their development of that game,
mm-hmm.
which I believe is all in that game as well. You can watch it all. At least they have some level of developer documentary in that game. It was made by 20 people, for reference. But it does not look and feel like it, I'll say that much. But I didn't really know how it played. I'd only ever seen the trailers of it, and I knew kind of like the subject matter.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck, dude, that game just blew me away. And I did play with headphones. I kind of went into it knowing that much. For Tony and Scott's reference, like the idea is you play a girl, a female warrior. Her name is Senua, and she hears voices, in her head, presumably.
Are they dead people? Maybe could be.
No, but I mean, it's implied that they're like different parts of her psyche. You know, possibly leaning into like a psychosis or a schizophrenia idea. I haven't watched the documentary. They'd worked with multiple psychiatrists in developing this game so as to more accurately portray mental illness. But the cool thing is, so like these voices are talking almost constantly, and some of them are positive, very quiet voices, positive, like you can do this, like if you're facing a challenge, or like, you can do this, like keep going. Don't give up, things like that. Some are like, she's going to die. You're a failure. You're the reason that they left, or things like that. And they're kind of like echoing and reverberating constantly. And they will very specifically react to context. There must have been like dozens of hours of just these voices recorded and laid over one another for different situations. But it's very effective. Like, I've never empathized with a character that I've been playing that is like in a different headspace than me more than this, because of how well done this is.
Mm-hmm.
It's powerful, especially later when like different voices join in the conversation that are distinct and sound distinct. Like there's a narrator that kind of addresses the player directly as one of the voices in Senua's head. And there are other voices that kind of come and go through the story that sound distinct or are representative of a different person of Senua's past. And they, like, the voices in her head are the kind of mechanism by which the story and the backstory of Senua is delivered. But what I like about the game is how little video gamey bullshit is in it. Like it never at any point shows a button prompt on the screen and tells you like this is what this button does ever. So you can pause the game and it's basically the pause menu is like options on the left and then all of the controls on the right half of the screen, and that's the only way you can see the controls. And kind of the voices act as they also like tutorialize you a little bit. So like they'll say things like focus, and you have an ability where you hold the right trigger and you focus in, you kind of look closer at something. And during combat, that works a little bit differently as well. And they'll say focus, and they'll yell that at you. Or strike hard, and that means like do a heavy attack versus like a light attack, things like that.
Strike hard.
Strike hard. I don't know if that's exactly what they say, but you understand.
I hope that you struck really hard, dude.
For sure. What I really like too is, like during combat, which is only a small portion of this game. I would say it is like 30% combat, and you like a lot of times you'll be surrounded by enemies, and if an enemy's behind you, because the camera kind of shifts more inward towards Senua and it's very focused. Like it looks one-on-one, but there's still enemies attacking you from all sides. Like the voices will yell out, "Look out!" or "Behind you," if an enemy is about to hit you from behind. And if you time your guard properly, you can parry them, even if they're behind you. So you're kind of listening and watching and acting based on these voices that are both denouncing you and talking about how you're a failure and that you're going to die, but also supporting you and encouraging you and helping you. It's such an incredible way to incorporate like this idea of mental instability into a video game as a video game mechanic. I've never experienced anything like it. What I like too, and I think Sky and Tony, you guys would like this. So the only tutorial prompt that pops up in the beginning is text that says, so you're quickly on after the prologue, your right arm is like infected with this poison, this darkness. So it starts moving up your right arm. So every time you fail, every time you die, it moves closer to your head up your right arm. And the prompt at the beginning says, if the infection reaches your head, you will fail and all progress will be lost. This didn't happen to me while I was playing the game, but presumably if you die enough times, you have to...
You die in real life?
You die in real life.
I got it.
It goes through the controller into your brain. But you have to restart the game, which I guess is like that mechanic. We talked about it briefly in the show back in August that folks were frustrated with. But again, I died 3 times through my playthrough of the game. But what that does, even if it didn't necessarily happen to me, I didn't have to start the game over, is it adds this layer of tension and like stress to combat that is like really effective. Like the stakes felt high always, and it really worked. And it's not like, I would say it's very forgiving. It's not easy, but it's forgiving, and that it gives you chances to kind of get back up if you get knocked down in combat and things like that. But there were definitely times where I failed and it like hits hard.
Sure.
I like also the combat difficulty adjusts automatically. So I assume if you're doing well, it gets harder, and if you're doing poorly, it gets easier. And that's the default difficulty setting for combat, but you can set it manually if you would like. Yeah, I mean, the majority of the game is kind of like environmental puzzles and kind of walking through these environments and doing these really cool different mechanics that, like, there are tons of mechanics in the game and different sections of the game that use them really well. And using those kind of voices and that commentary and the dialogue to really flesh out Senua as a character and her background. But man, yeah, that game goes places and does things and shows you things, and you hear things in that game that I've never ever played a game like it. It is really, really incredible in my opinion.
Yeah, it sounds cool.
Yeah, I think you specifically, Tony, you would really dig it. I don't know if it'd be a miracle if any of us had time to get anything, but just to throw it out there.
It's short though, right?
Yeah, it took me about, I think, 7 hours to finish it. I did it in 2 sessions, so the first session, I did like the first boss, who was about an hour and a half, and then I just played through all the rest of it in the next session because I couldn't put it down. But I don't know, there's this part in the middle of the game where there's just no combat at all, and it's just like, this is very cool. Like they very much don't. I was worried in the beginning that the combat would kind of get stale and old and they wouldn't introduce new things to it, but it very much isn't the case. And the things they do with that are really cool. And also, they're like, so in each section of the game, there are these lore stones that tell like a different fable with a different lesson of Norse mythology. What I like is that they're not like the big stories too, for the most part.
Yeah.
They're not like the story of Odin or the story of Thor. Like, Thor is only referenced once, I think, in that game. It is more of like, this is the story of Surt and the story of Sigrun and his blade from Odin. Like, it's like, oh, these are really cool, like, smaller stories with like, and there's always a lesson at the end of them, so they're done like fables. So that, I thought, like, the audio diary equivalent in this game was actually really cool. And I don't know much about Norse mythology, so it was cool to hear those stories. And also the character that kind of delivers them, the mechanism by like which Senua is remembering them, is really cool as well. Man, that game just blew me away. Like, that's probably in my top 5 for this year.
Nice.
Which again, I went in relatively blind. I thought it was probably going to be something I dig just because it's, you know, mental illness is a big core concept to it, but it ended up resonating with me way more than I thought it would. So
cool.
Yeah, that's Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice. Fucking, in my opinion, a must play from this year. If anyone is listening, please try and just give it a shot. It's $30. Apparently that game, it is sold over 500,000 copies now, which was above Ninja Theory's expectations, especially pace at which it sells, and it's now profitable. So that's just, it's a good, feel-good story on top of that as well. So, congrats to them. I played Resident Evil 7 in virtual reality.
You got virtual with it?
I got virtual with it. I talked about it last week. My brother got a...
Did that make it scarier?
Yes, it did.
Was it great?
It was very great. I'll loop it back around to that, but it was very spooky, very scary, very great. My brother got a PlayStation VR. He also got a PS4 Pro, so I kind of set those up while he was out of town this last weekend. Sat down and played this. This was like the one I wanted to play. And I'm very thankful that I had played that game before, because if I hadn't, I probably would have like taken the headset off crying because of how shook I would have been. So like, I talked to you, Nabishin, about it because my Let's Play like video got eaten of it. But there is a jump scare in the kind of opening part of that game where you're running from Jack, the one of the antagonists of the game, where he bursts through a wall, and that scared me. And I had it recorded, but the video got eaten, so I never ended up putting it out. Played that again in VR, scared the shit out of me, even though I knew it was about to happen, but it happening in front of me was very fucking terrifying. And I jumped multiple times. And it was more of like the, oh, this is fun, like jump scare type thing, because again, I had played the game before. If it had been like a new and unexpected shit, I would have like ripped the headset off and like started crying. But
how did dismemberment stuff happen for you?
It was good. I mean, it was terrible, but it was eerie and horrifying because it's like very close is the thing.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
So like that whole fight in the beginning, kind of like the tutorial fight, is like very, very close. And there's like hair in your face at some points, and I'm like, so yeah, it was very effective. I do want to note, I just got a text message from Logan Wilkinson, who I convinced to buy Hellblade last night, and he said Hellblade is special. Throwing it out there. And he was terrified once I told him the whole thing like, hey, if you die too many times, you have to start the game over. But so if he's still positive on it, then I'm feeling good about it. But yeah, so sat down, played through the part where you get to the laundry room, so you kind of like run from the first enemy. It's before, I guess, there's a tutorial boss fight, but it's after that. So, it was really cool. It was very immersive. I played for about an hour and a half straight too, and I didn't have any issues. I will say, so like, control-wise, like the default controls is when you flick the right analog stick left or right, it like clicks you 30 degrees left or 30 degrees right, depending on which direction you go. That's like the default setting to kind of reduce motion sickness. And I just didn't like how that looked, so I switched it to the just smooth motion left or right. And I am not a person who gets motion sickness, but I got very dizzy doing that at times. I don't even like know exactly what it is. Maybe it's just like the full left and right, being able to see everything, and it also moving. Even if you're controlling it, but it definitely made me dizzy. Again, I didn't get sick, but dizzy. And I had to.
Sweats.
I was getting the sweats, the VR sweats. I had to bump it down to the slowest camera movement, which is typically really frustrating for me. But it was the only way to kind of be comfortable. I ended up getting used to it, but it's still, even at the end of it all, made me a little dizzy looking around. But I think I still preferred kind of taking that risk than the weird kind of clipping 30 degrees left and right. Because it just like cuts. It's like a hard cut. But I felt like I had more control the other way. In the boss fight, it was definitely weird because I'm like looking over my shoulder, and there was a moment where like I looked behind me, and I could just do that, and I was like, this is pretty cool. And like the 3D audio and shit, just like you hear loud noise behind you, you're like, fuck, it's just a video game. What was nice is I put on the VR helmet, and I was sitting on my couch in my living room upstairs, and I was in it. I was in the rift. I was in the rift for an hour and a half, and then I took it off, and then Gus was sleeping on the couch next to me. I do not know when he jumped up and sat with me, but it was adorable. Yeah, Resident Evil 7. I'm glad I got to try that in VR. I kind of want to play through it all in VR now.
That game's worth playing through, right?
Yeah, for sure. I love that game.
Yeah,
a ton.
I'm still stuck at the fighting the wife. I think that's where I stopped at.
Yeah, that's the most difficult battle, I think.
Okay.
Because like you're still kind of, you don't have a lot of upgrades, you don't have a lot of tools and ammo at that point. And it's also like very confusing, very big area.
Yeah.
I would say give it a couple of tries, and once you know the area well enough, you should be fine.
Is there a way to find her? I think there's a way, right?
Yeah, she's
more easily. That's what I mean to say.
Typically, if you can't find her, she's probably against a wall, like planting one of these like little spawns.
Yeah.
And she makes a specific noise when she does that. So if you have headphones on or something, you'll be able to tell when that is. And there are like kind of specific points where she's doing that typically, and that's good because then you can run up and like hit her and stuff like that. So
okay.
I would highly recommend finishing that game. That is also, in my opinion, one of the 10 best games that came out this year.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm very glad I got to play in VR because again, I was going to get a PSVR in January. God knows that wasn't in the money cards, but that game is very good. It is also very good in VR. It doesn't look as great, but I think it still looks pretty great in general. I played Wolfenstein 2, talked about that a little bit. So I don't know why I did this, but I bought Assassin's Creed 3. But here, let me tell you, there's a positive experience out of this.
You got guilted into it from last week?
No, I just was like, people were talking about it. I'm like, was Connor that bad? I don't know. And then I bought it. 'Cause I'm stupid. And then I forgot that all the boat stuff started in that game. I'm like, the boat stuff wasn't too bad in this game because there wasn't too much of it. That game's good. That game's all right. It's messy, but it's all right. But here's the positive experience with it. I was like, all right, I want to play Assassin's Creed 3. Okay, I got it on PS3 forever ago. I definitely don't have that version of that game anymore. I sold that years ago. Game came out in 2012. Hot year for video games. And I was thinking like, oh well, you know, I could probably get it like on the PSN store on PS3. And then I thought, wait, is it backwards compatible on Xbox One? Turns out it is. And that was kind of like, I've primarily been playing everything on Xbox One this week, and like spending a significant amount of time on that console. I'll say like quality of life overall, the Xbox One is like the best video game console
For sure.
which is crazy because like I never really liked the 360, right? I was like, maybe I was just like abused into liking the PS3 and the cross media bar. I don't know. You were in the same boat though, Nabashin. So
Yeah.
People talk about Blades like it was a good thing. I got my 360 like right after they said, "Hey, we're updating. We're not going to do Blades anymore." I'm like, "Fucking thank God." So I'm sick of that. And I never even had one. It was just like 20 minutes I used of my brother's. Yeah, so it's just like going to the Xbox store on my phone in the app and like saying, "Oh, Assassin's Creed 3 is on the backwards compatibility store." Purchasing that, downloading it on my Xbox One, and then switching between like that 360 game on my Xbox One and like Final Fantasy 15 and Wolfenstein 2, some other games I've been playing this week. It's just like super easy and just super nice, and it's very snappy. It's great. It is a great experience overall. And it's kind of a bummer that that the Xbox is not the better selling platform. But this could change. I could get more frustrated with it or whatever. But just generally, I've been having such a great time with Xbox. Then I've spent a significant amount of time with it. Like I've probably spent more time just in the Xbox ecosystem in the last 2 weeks than I have in the entirety of owning an Xbox One for 3 years.
Yeah.
Not to say like I haven't used it. I've played games on it for sure, Titanfall and Quantum Break and Halo 5 and things like that. But I just like haven't spent as much time in like the menus and like the store and everything. But it is a phenomenal experience.
Yeah, I haven't been in the right place to be doing like going back to playing older games, unfortunately, because I'm just playing newer shit and stuff like that.
Yeah, there's not enough time. I'm a terrible person for doing what I'm doing. Don't follow my example.
But like hopefully in January, like, because I'm looking at Catherine, I'm looking at Metal Gear Rising Revengeance, and I'm like, I really want to replay these games and play on the Xbox would be great, just to like play them again and actually get new achievements. So like I'll feel good about myself when I play them. So
yeah. The only thing that is not a bummer about Xbox, and I don't know why, is I still like trophies more than achievements. I don't know why.
Trophies are great. That's why.
So you can get the Hellblade Platinum Trophy in one run, and I missed like 4 lore stones, which are like the collectible. So that was the only trophy I missed. That's bullshit. I would replay that game again though to get that. Apparently Jarrett Green, host of Input, wrote a guide for it on Gamepedia.com. So I will probably reference that. But yeah, I just like I had a great experience with the Xbox One as far as like, oh wow, like this is really great and easy and kind of like everything is just here. It's a bummer that I don't own as many 360 games, but
dude, when is Vesperia fucking gonna happen? I'll do that for you, but it needs to freaking happen.
I believe in it though. I turned on my 360 to upload all my cloud saves. And it sounds like a jet engine. It's been off for like 6 months, and I turned it on. I'm like, this is not going to last. I need y'all to do this for me. I will get rid of this in a heartbeat. Just please put Vesperia on backwards compatibility. That's literally all I need to. Like, all I need. But I don't know. I look at my games library on Xbox One. It's like Red Dead Redemption. I've got Bayonetta 1 installed and like ready to go. I've got Assassin's Creed 3. I've got Death of the Outsider and What Remains of Edith Finch and Final Fantasy 15. It's like, wow, this is like just I can access these immediately. It's just Yeah, it's very nice. It's spoiling, honestly. So it's been weird being on the other side of that coin for a little bit of time. I don't think the PS4 is bad by any means. It's just like the Xbox is just like so consumer friendly at this point. It's absurd. So I'm glad I've got an excuse to kind of spend more time on that platform. The other thing I've been playing, so basically like I said I'm trying to play and finish one game a week. I finished Hellblade this week. I assume maybe halfway through Wolfenstein 2. I played about 4 or 5 hours of it. It's apparently 10 hours. So I assume halfway through Wolfenstein 2, so I plan on finishing that next week. But in my off time, I'm apparently playing either Assassin's Creed 3, which is fine. Just also, it's very messy, but it's fine. But also Final Fantasy 15, as just kind of like, hey, this is the game that is like my filler game. I'm listening to podcasts, and I'm just having a good time playing this. It's the game I want to be playing versus like the other games I want to be playing, but I also feel like this incessant need to play the new games. And that game's really great. There have been a lot of small updates to it. There's another one coming out soon, and we have some news about that as well, where you'll be able to play as all the characters. You'll be able to switch between them while you're exploring the open world.
Ooh, Ignis should be coming out soon too.
And Ignis is coming out on the 12th or 15th in that area.
About it, yeah.
So I haven't even gotten to the first episode, Gladio's episode in the story. So I plan on like getting to it and then pausing and then playing the episode and then going back to the story.
Yeah, let me know what you think about this.
Yeah, I will. But that game is really great. I was worried going back to it that after like the distance from last year, in retrospect, that I wouldn't like it as much. But I actually like it just as much, if not more.
Yeah, man, that game's real good.
Yeah, it's a good feeling just to go back to it and be like, man, I really like this. They changed, like, I saw a single cutscene that they changed also.
Which one?
So there is I think they changed it. I could be wrong, but you fight a boss at the end of chapter 2.
The game's getting some support.
It is.
Yeah.
And it's kind of great. Like, I don't know, I get the perspective of like, well, you know, if they're adding more story to that game, shouldn't have just been there from the get-go. Yeah, for sure. But also, I like that at the end of it all, Final Fantasy 15 will be kind of like this big anthology of multiple characters' perspectives and things versus the original version of it, which was very much a single character's perspective on this story, which I was okay with, but really did bother justifiably people like you, Nabishin. So I'm kind of stoked to see like what it all is at the end of it, like what the overarching feel of Final Fantasy 15 is with all the changes that they've made. But there's also like quality of life improvements, like this, like they just showed this cutscene from a different perspective where they show the actual character getting into like the mech suit that you fight at the end of chapter 2. I don't know if that was in the original game. I feel like it wasn't though. It felt different. But they showed the character from the Empire that you'd fight against, and like he actually had a face, and they introduced him a bit more properly, versus him just being a nameless boss in a mech suit. And also like they changed it so now you can take multiple hunts at a time, which I believe you couldn't in the first game. I believe you could only do one at a time. So you can do up to 10 now, which is great, and you can cash them in at any place, any restaurant or whatever you go to. So you could go do 10 and then go to whoever the closest restaurant is and just cash it all in. And that's a game changer. That's just quality of life. Great. There's like timed quests, like kind of like daily style quests of like I haven't really looked into them that much, but they're just like, you know, kill this thing, go here, kind of like the side quests, but incorporated into like a leaderboard type thing. It looks great on the Xbox One X, and it's fun, and I like that game a lot. Yeah, I'm just having a great time with that game. It's fun to go back to. Again, as my filler game, listening to podcasts, catching up on stuff. Catching up on all this hashtag content that I haven't been listening to in 2017. So
I'm definitely like now it's been like a year since like the game came out. Like the way they've actually been treating that game, Final Fantasy 15, I feel like a lot more warmer towards it. Kind of like how I guess more kind of how people feel about like the original Destiny. I would say like just like the load of content they put into it and like their the actual improvements of what they're doing to it. Sure, it would have been nice to have that at launch, but like at the same time, like making good for what people who already bought the game and stuff like that. It's still real good.
Yeah, understanding the circumstances by which that game was made, where they just like they had to get it done. They could have easily like put it out and been done with it, but like it's almost it's very reductive to say they're finishing that game, but they are finishing that game. Like they're putting a lot of heart and soul into it as well, from what I understand. So,
I mean, like, at the same time too, it feels like almost like a Shovel Knight situation where it's like stop. Like we like that you're updating this, but like move on to the next game, please,
yeah, exactly.
Type of thing. So
it seems like they're like saying this is the 30th anniversary of Final Fantasy this year, and they're saying like 2018 is gonna be a really big year for Final Fantasy. And it's like, all right, like you're probably gonna announce Final Fantasy 16 or whatever the fuck it is. Like you don't have to be all wink and nodding about it. Like we get it. But yeah, they keep like wink, wink, nudge, nudge saying that. And it's like, all right, okay.
Watch out, dude.
I'm glad you're excited, I guess.
Speaking of
or that's when they're dropping 7 Remake.
Yeah, that's when they're just dropping it before Kingdom Hearts. We were all wrong.
Speaking of Shovel Knight, when is that Kingdom Knight DLC coming out?
That's December, is what they had said. So
shit keeps popping. 2017 don't fucking stop.
Yeah, please. It don't stop till the heart drop is what it's doing. Also, so fun fact, get this. I launched the Final Fantasy 15 Comrades multiplayer expansion. And that has like a whole story, which I was not expecting. So you remember the chubbier guy from the Kingsglaive movie?
Yeah.
He is like the main like kind of character that you talk to in that game, in the Comrades DLC. So like it kind of like you find out like what happened to him, and so like he's building a new Kingsglaive, and so the Comrades DLC takes place during the time jump era. So it is like, hey, like this is us establishing Lestalem as like this last human refuge, and us like fighting back against the demons, and then kind of building up humans and like reestablishing the Kingsglaive with new people. And like so you are this custom character that you play. You are like the new Kingsglaive. Apparently you were in the Kingsglaive and you were rescued, but whatever. And I was like, whoa, I didn't expect this to have, and there's a story arc to it, I guess. It goes places. I only played through like the tutorial. It plays a little bit differently too than 15 proper, but it plays well. I kind of want to get like a group together and just like fucking do it, like play that game, play the Comrades, and just see what it's all about. So if anyone's out there and they have Final Fantasy 15 on Xbox One, and you want to check that out with me, let me know. I am super down. But it actually seems kind of cool. I do want to say, like,
yeah,
I know we
better than what it was in that beta. So.
Yeah, I know we kind of shit all over it, but it does. There's like a story to it. There's like a hub world. There are quests and stuff like that, and characters. It like brings back a lot of the characters, and you kind of figure out what happened to them during that time jump. So it is kind of also adding to the overall Final Fantasy 15 lore, which I didn't expect. And it seems well made and pretty cool. So, just as another little positive thing, I'm feeling really good about Final Fantasy 15. Also, as my last game here, because I know I've been going forever, but in the Final Fantasy, in my headcanon for Final Fantasy 15, when Iggy is driving around the world of Eos, Noctis on his phone has gotten really into Animal Crossing Pocket Camp. Which I played a lot of that game. And like I listened to people talk about it. Like I finally listened to a Giant Bombcast for the first time since April this past week. And them like talking about it on this past week's episode of that, of like, hey, this is bad, and it just like shows how much of a checklist Animal Crossing is. I'm like, you're not wrong, but I also am still playing this. Just because, I don't know, it's fine. It's okay. It's not great, but it is, like I said earlier, it is making me thirsty for another Animal Crossing. I'm like level 11 or 12 now, so I'm like, I've played a lot more. Yes, I probably wouldn't recommend playing it anymore. It's not that great, but it doesn't have the heart and soul of Animal Crossing, but it's, looks like it. Go ahead, Nabashin. I feel like you're gonna hit me with it.
No, like speaking of a mobile game, like I just realized I didn't talk about this, but Puzzle Fighter came out on
Thought we were about to talk about some HQ, and I was gonna be like, oh boy.
Oh no, I didn't even try that. I'll probably delete it like next month or something.
I was going to have us play HQ on the show, but I forgot, and we were talking about games, and I didn't want to interrupt it. So.
Very good. But yeah, Puzzle Fighter came on iPhone, and like that's not the best.
Oh.
Like it's okay, but it's like Puzzle Fighter is one of my favorite puzzle games ever. Like Super Puzzle Fighter 2 Turbo on like PSN. Is really good. And I played the original one on the original PlayStation, but yeah, it's just not that great. Like cause like everything about it visually and presentation wise, like it's there and it's everything I want, but it's just like the gameplay isn't there. Controlling with your thumb is not the best. Like it's okay, but you can't really do what you want to do as far as like control, and sometimes you like make silly mistakes because you use your fucking thumb instead of a controller, and you don't really have that versus aspect ever when you play that game, where it's you make a big gym and then you break the gym and a whole bunch of your junk goes onto the other opponent's side. It happens, but not happens as much, and it works, but it doesn't work at the same time. It's something I think I'm gonna still keep playing, but it's just not.
It's just disappointing.
Yeah.
That sounds like a bummer.
It's a bummer, totally.
Shout out to Animal Crossing Pocket Camp one time. Never mind.
I might just even tweet at Jeff Gerstmann and Jason, because I know they're Puzzle Fighter fans, so they can talk about it in the podcast. It's just is it just me? Or this is
an atrocity.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's probably not just you. I'll say that. That is all I've been playing. So if I'll throw this out there. So I'll add Night in the Woods to a list of games that I'd like to get to. So trying to finish a game every week. Wolfenstein 2 and I guess Doki Doki Literature Club next week is my goal, and then Pyre, and then Dishonored: Death of the Outsider. If anyone has any other suggestions, feel free to tweet them at me at alfighter27. Especially indie stuff. Hellblade was a good, nice, oh, fuck yeah, indie games. And I'm hoping Pyre is that as well. This Cuphead was that for me, and it was oh, man, I gotta play more of these.
I will be really interested in what you think about Night in the Woods.
Logan actually has a piece going up on Night in the Woods. Probably on Monday, it sounds like. That I'm curious to see what you would think. Because he finished it recently, and he had a bit more of a dour perspective on it.
Sure.
But he liked the game, but he had a kind of, it resonated in a more somber way with him. Which, from what I understand, is totally reasonable for that game. So for folks curious about Night in the Woods, maybe that'll be a good entry, a gateway into it.
Tacoma? You ever been doing that?
Great question.
I literally just remembered that game.
Yeah.
Add it to the list.
Possibly. I might have a way to play Tacoma. So we'll see. I would like to play Tacoma. Logan told me I didn't need to play it, was the big kind of takeaway, but I'd like to at least see that game for myself.
Yeah, for sure.
So, all right, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we have news to go through, and then we'll take some listener questions and throw the show out. So we will be back in just a little bit.
Choo, choo, choo.
The pee timer went off in my head and in my bladder. It was it's time. You've talked enough about Final Fantasy 15. I will be right back.
Before I leave, Tony, is that Avatar Roy Mustang?
What?
Is that Avatar Roy Mustang?
Maybe.
I'm just making sure.
It is, yeah.
Okay, I'm just making sure, just animation-wise. Just making sure.
Hey, Noption, before you leave,
Uh-huh.
finish the fucking game. I'm just saying that there's more to it than what you're immediately turned off by, and it would be a real fucking shame if you didn't finish it because of it.
I mean, like I get that, and I'm not trying to be like prudish about it, but like I'm you just what I'm feeling right now. That's all.
I know. I'm just saying, give it a shot. You know, you have a very short amount of time before the game kind of changes, and you would miss that if you didn't go back to it.
Yeah,
It kind of sucked.
that it's taking too long to get to that point. That's all.
It's been an hour. You know.
It's a fucking hour.
Yeah.
Tropey bullshit that I don't like.
I don't know. I feel like people have put up with more for a longer amount of time before.
I get that, but I'm just saying. It's something that I actually like. This is not offending me. That's a bad word for it, but like it's just like it's like belittling something I actually like.
I don't know. I think you might be reading too much into it at this point.
Maybe I am. I'll be back.
Mm-hmm. Boo.
Hi, Boo. Let's see. Did anybody else leave for the break?
An option. And maybe Scott, I don't know, he hasn't said shit.
Scott's just cranking it so right.
Oh, God.
How are you doing today?
More like cranking it so wrong.
Hell yeah, my man.
I'm okay.
Just okay?
Just okay.
I want you to be great. I want you to be super fantastic.
Well, I'm only Mr. Bombastic right now.
Well, I guess we all have to settle sometime in our life.
Yeah. God, you know what game I've been wanting to play?
What?
But I don't have time to play because I have so much other shit to play.
Assassin's Creed 3?
Fuck no. PUBG.
Yes.
I just kind of missed that game a little bit.
I'm excited to play PUBG
Nato's playing it right now.
when it comes out on Xbox. Nobbish and I are gonna go. We're gonna go doubles. We're gonna go take over the world.
Uh-huh.
You're gonna get your ass in, dude.
It's gonna be great.
Absolutely, we're gonna get absolutely destroyed, and I'm so excited. I hope you're in it to win it, Nobbish, because we're getting that chicken dinner.
I don't see why not.
Damn right, my man. This Aquaman.
My man.
My man.
You see, Tim, we're at the point now where it's like it's at the point where it's like if that ending isn't something next level, then I'm really just gonna just hate it all in general.
For what?
I'm aware.
Oh, okay, got it. Never mind.
I don't know. I think you'll be
in general. Just a surprise. Like, oh, okay, that's a good.
You'll be.
And it's like no.
Let Scott answer this.
This is precisely why I need you to finish this game.
Yeah.
I mean, I also like.
And it sucks because the more you talk about it, the more you're gonna be the less it's going to impact you because you're expecting whatever.
See, the whole reason I brought it up to you is so you would say oh, that's a good game, you should play. I'm like, okay, and then I would do it.
This is the kind of game that is there is no good way to understand or talk about this game without having played it.
I also Nobbish, I'll say just to throw my 2 cents in it again. total Switzerland over here. I understand them wanting to just know how you feel about the overall total package of it, because they value your opinion a great deal. Just like when we were talking in our text.
Well, yeah, there's several reasons why I want you to finish this game. But
it's almost at the point now. It's just like I might as well just like look it up because I just don't even want to play it anymore.
It wouldn't make sense if you didn't go through the whole thing.
And by the whole thing, it's another like 2 hours of game and you're done.
Also, we do have the best sound design category.
And I will say that Joey Noel has been DM'd me and is like, yeah, Nabashin needs to play this.
Are we?
I'm not. Listen, Nabashin, I'm going to be the third party here. I'm going to say, Chase you your bliss. Okay?
Sure.
You do you, boo. So I understand what it's like when everyone's like, you need to play this game. I also understand what it's like when you're the person that's like, I really just want this person to play this game. I'm going to just abstain. I was gonna say though, we do have the best sound design category this year, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, Hellblade for sure. Should at least be a nominee. Cool. I just want to make sure. I have not gone through with any of the things I've finished yet, so. Although I think you've kept up with everything that I've played well enough, Namishin, going through the whole thing the one time. So
you need to probably revisit Berseria about some stuff.
Okay, yeah.
But like other than that, yeah, that's like the only one that's like a black hole as far as what
sure.
I know.
I got the Edith Finch one was really just a sequence, which I added to best moment. So, yeah.
And I put Velvet for like I the name is Velvet for best female.
Yeah, yeah. I think I saw that. So it's a good pick. Yeah. Question, because we haven't talked about this. I know we're still on air right now, and we're still on break as well. What do we want to maybe get together for Game of the Year this year?
I mean, I feel like this is a question specifically for Nabashin because I can do it regardless.
I don't know if the trek is happening for me this year, unfortunately.
Okay, that's fine. Either way, I just throw it out there.
I have family in town, so it's gonna be a whole thing.
Gotcha. We should get an idea of when we want to record that. But I already maybe first week of January is probably what we'll end up doing. But all right, you all ready?
Yeah.
Cool. Let's talk about some news. Scott, I'm going to throw information about this thing at you, and I want to get your live reactions.
Did you play the music?
Yeah, did it not go through?
No.
It didn't go through.
I was confused.
Okay.
I mean, I believe you. I believe that the music happened.
Do you want me to do it again so that you...
No, I don't care. Me personally, right? If it's just my opinion that matters, it doesn't fucking matter.
Sorry, there wasn't a button. There wasn't a button pressed so that you guys wouldn't hear it, which means it also wouldn't have gone through my audio, but that's fine. I'll edit it in later. I'll look for the big silence. Scott, there's a news story that I just want to throw this information at you, and I want to get your just live, raw reaction.
All right.
How do you feel about cereal?
It's delicious.
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay. Do you have a preference for cereal?
Not particularly.
Okay. Do you
I have a few things that I don't like.
Okay. How do you feel about the weird Lucky Charms marshmallows?
That's fine.
They're fine? Okay. What if I told you that Nintendo is making a Super Mario Odyssey cereal?
Okay.
Now what if I told you, Scott, that the box for the cereal was an amiibo?
The box itself?
The box itself.
Shaped like an amiibo or is an amiibo?
No, it's just it is an amiibo, but it is also a cereal box. And there's also real cereal in the box in a bag.
Hopefully they'd put it in something.
Hopefully.
I don't know. This is like it's a box though, right?
It's a box.
And it's you can't tap it to your.
You
You
can.
cannot. You can.
You can.
You can.
You can tap the box to your Nintendo Switch.
That's hilarious.
This is real. Nintendo's making a Super Mario Odyssey cereal. So I guess it seems like maybe there's like a panel on the front of the box specifically that has the NFC chip in it that you can tap to get hearts and coins in Super Mario Odyssey.
Mm-hmm.
But this is weird, right? Like, this is a weird marketing thing. Fun fact, the cereal is $4 a box. It is the cheapest amiibo. The most affordable amiibo.
Why wouldn't you? If you
guess.
had one, why wouldn't you at least try it? Why not once?
I wanna.
It is the price of average cereal.
Yeah. I want to be the person that takes their Switch into a grocery store and is just tapping against boxes.
Just tapping every box.
Every box is like, yeah, give me those hearts. So yeah, it's cool because there hasn't been like a video game serial since like Nintendo did it back in like the 90s, right? Like that was the last time I think there was video game serial. This is that I can remember. But yeah, it's Mario. He's got Cappy on. He's holding a spoon, looking down at the cereal. It's got like little red and green mushroom marshmallows and little question mark block marshmallows. So there you go. That's a real thing, Scott. Nintendo's actually doing that. And if you tap it in Super Mario Odyssey, things will happen. So there you go. In other news. Really, I just wanted to really get Scott's reaction on it because Nobishin said
it's pretty good.
That would be a pretty good thing.
Can you use that amiibo in Smash?
That's a great question. And if so, what Smash character is it? It's a cereal box. It's just a cereal box starts fighting.
It's Box Boy.
It's Box Boy. Finally.
It's Solgren from I Want to Be the Guy.
In that Super Smash cameo that we've all been waiting for. The online functionality of Demon Souls will cease to operate early next year. It looks like it is February 28th, 2018. Finally. Now, old listeners of Irrational Passions podcast, I think like 2012, 2013 was when they said they were going to shut down Demon Souls.
It was sometime last generation. Like,
yeah.
I think it was well into like when Dark Souls, the original Dark Souls came out, they were trying to get rid of it then. And
which would have been 2011.
Yeah.
And so they had said that they were going to shut it down, and then fans had said, no, please don't. And they're like, okay. And they've kept it going for an additional, if it was 2011, an additional 7 years, which is actually really impressive. And I went back, and I think was it this year that I went back and played some Demon Souls? Fuck, that must have been.
I think it was last year.
It was either late last year or early this year.
Either of the two.
And there were still some very, very few, but there were still some folks running around, dropping bloodstains and dying in that game. So,
you got purists out there.
Yeah, they're purists. Finally, playing the real Souls experience. So yeah, that's cool. I mean, props to them for extending it out as long as they did. I totally understand at this point why they would shut down Demon Souls. I remember like originally it was like 2.5 years after it had come out. It was like, let's keep it going for a little bit longer. Did not expect it to be this long. An appropriate end to Demon Souls. Obviously the game will still work, but things like World Tendency and invasions and a lot of the mechanics with that won't work anymore without online functionality. Like notes and messages from other players and whatnot. So it is for sure best to experience that in its full online glory. If you've not played Demon Souls, Scott called it the best game of last generation in our Games of the Generation podcast series.
Yep.
And it is there is really no game quite like Demon Souls out there. even the Dark Souls games don't go quite as into the weeds as Demon Souls did. So, very cool game. Shout out, pour one out for Demon Souls. February 28th. In Final Fantasy 15 news, we kind of alluded to this earlier on the show, but they announced yesterday, no, 2 days ago, Wednesday, the 1-year anniversary of Final Fantasy 15, that they are going to continue making additional episodes and content for Final Fantasy 15 in 2018. The last of the initially announced DLC episodes, episode Ignis, is coming out December. Like I said, I believe it's December 15th, or at least around there. And there's also going to be an update with that a free update that allows you to play as all 4 characters when exploring the open world. They announced that during this little presentation on Wednesday. They announced that there will be 3 more episodes releasing in 2018. They didn't really give, or they said, quote-unquote, at least 3 episode-style DLC chapters. They didn't give a lot of details as to what they are, but they did say that the first episode of the next 3 would be about Arden, who's the main antagonist of Final Fantasy 15. I really like Arden, I'll say. I like him as a villain. I feel like there's definitely, they could have done more with him. They could have fleshed him out a bit more, but I liked his kind of presence in that game, especially going back to it and playing it recently.
What
So,
other characters you think you're gonna have if you play? Probably Core, right?
Luna, I think, would be a good one. Because
she would be though.
she did stuff like, you know, she touched base with all of the whatever the deities, the gods. She had to like speak to all of them before Noctis did to kind of prepare him to kind of fuse with them. So for their trials. So Luna would be a cool one. Core might be a good one. I was thinking probably Ravis, but I think they've like they fleshed him out a lot more in, it looks like, in episode Ignis. He's going to be a big part of that, and in the update to chapter 13. So
did you play that Assassin's Creed special?
no, I downloaded it though. I don't know if I can
Such
access
a
it
weird
yet.
game.
Super weird, dude. Final
Such
Fantasy
a
15 is
weird
a
game,
weird
Final
fucking,
Fantasy 15.
yeah. What a weird world we live in. I have it downloaded because I have Assassin's Creed on Xbox One, which means I get additional things as well, I believe. So I don't know. We'll see. So yeah, that's it's cool. They also said, you know, next year or this year is the 30th anniversary of Final Fantasy. Final Fantasy 1 came out on the NES in 1987, which is crazy. So they will be doing. There is going to be the PC release of Final Fantasy 15 early next year. And
you know where I'm playing it.
exactly. God, apparently that game's gonna look bonkers on PC too. And they teased that it was going to be a quote unquote big year for Final Fantasy 2018.
So big.
Again, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Final Fantasy VII Remake available now. We'll see what that turns out to be. I imagine, you know, maybe they will tease Final Fantasy.
I'm honestly assuming that means 2 games with the addition of the support they're giving for this one.
Yeah, I mean something at least. Maybe I feel like,
because I think that's what it's gonna take for it to be that big year that they're touting it.
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It could be possible that Final Fantasy VII starts in whatever capacity it plans on starting that year, but we'll see. I just, you know, Kingdom Hearts hasn't been delayed out of 2018 yet, so fucking holding on to that hope, riding that dragon. In other news, very relevant to this podcast, the first of many, I assume, My Hero Academia games have been announced.
Oh man.
What's it called? My Hero. Is it just called My Hero Academia?
Something like that.
My Hero Academia Battle for All. Oh, this is the second. There was a Battle for All game that came out on the 3DS in 2016. So this is, correction. This new one is called My Hero Academia: One's Justice. One's Possessive Justice. And it is coming to the PlayStation 4 and the Nintendo Switch, which is cool. It was just unveiled in some Japanese magazine. Not Famitsu, Weekly Jump. That's what it was. And that's cool. Seems, there's like a screenshot of it out there or something. It's a My Hero Academia fighting game. There will probably be a lot of these.
Okay.
If I had to guess. Tony, if you really wanted a My Hero Academia fighting game, I would bet by 2019 you will have at least 4.
You think the best character in that game will be All Might?
God, I hope so.
Me too, because he's great.
So they show Midoriya and the fucking weird guy with the hands on his face. He has a name, right? I've never.
Hand Face Man.
Hand Face Man.
That's a pretty good superhero name, right?
That's his canonical supervillain name, right?
No, he's a hero.
I don't believe that. I don't know. It looks cool. There's a couple screenshots in this post. I think it's cool that it's coming to Switch.
Yeah.
Considering like this game probably was in the works for a little bit, that means Nintendo might have gone in there and swooped it up, or they were so jazzed about Switch that they decided to put it on there.
Or it's a Japanese game, so there you go.
Yeah, or it's a Japanese game, so like they're like, hey, let's put it on a handheld-ish platform.
By default.
Yeah.
Do we know who's making that game?
Let me see. Let me look at this article.
Like, is it like CyberConnect, or?
You would think it would be CyberConnect because they do it. All of them. It is being published by Bandai Namco.
Okay.
Which makes sense. They seem to publish most, if not all, of the anime fighting games. And it is getting a trailer on the 16th of December, so we might not know until then. Yeah, it's just saying the publisher for now. So.
Okay.
So that's cool. I don't know. I like the idea of a My Hero Academia fighting game.
I think it's too soon.
I mean, of course it's too soon, but have you heard about this anime?
Yeah, how many Dragon Ball Z fighting games are there? Think about that.
Fuck, man.
What if we had that many from My Hero Academia?
Because Dragon Ball FighterZ Z is coming out soon.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only Dragon Ball fighting game that matters. That's like January 28th, Nabashin. You know that, right? That's like
26.
26? Man, you do know that. So like we're starting 2018 strong with Ni no Kuni 2 and Dragon Ball FighterZ. Really, like, what else matters?
Owlboy comes out. I just looked this up. Owlboy comes out on the 4th, like sometime in February.
On the Switch?
Switch, PS4, and Xbox One.
Oh, nice. Cool. That's cool. So, let's talk about Destiny controversy.
Uh-oh.
Tony and Nabashin listened to the podcast this week, so they kind of know about it already.
I'm on it, yeah.
So... we're going to probably talk about this on the Farm to Tower episode as well, as I'm curious to see what those boys think about it. So there's been some controversy, Tony.
Yeah.
I know you love the controversy. Apparently, Bungie has been, I guess, I don't want to say lying, because lying feels like a really strong word, but they've been, let's say, misleading players on how much experience they've been getting. So during Destiny, when you play the game, there's experience bar, bottom middle, it's a first-person shooter with RPG mechanics, so this is nothing new. But the game has been quietly scaling down the XP you earn for easy-to-repeat events like public events and lost sectors and things like that. The shady part of it is on the XP bar, it shows you how much, it gives you a number of how much experience points you're getting, and shows you the bar is going up by that many experience points. After you've reached maximum level of 20, the experience points don't really matter, but every level, quote-unquote, you reach, you get a Bright Engram, which is kind of like a loot box. It has typically cosmetic things, but it also has weapon mods in it that can be used to contribute toward like weapon mods that'll make your gear better by 5 points. The thing is, apparently, the number of experience points you've been getting, like the number it tells you you're getting, is not actually the number you've been getting, and the bar on the screen is reflective of that, is kind of the honest reflection of that. Whereas the game has been telling you you've been getting more experience than you actually have been, because Bungie has been scaling down the experience you earn for these repeatable events, and they did not see fit to tell anybody this.
Yeah.
Because the game was lying to you.
You want to know what's even better about all this?
What?
They've had this whole promotion going on where you buy Pop-Tarts and then you text a thing with like your proof of purchase of the Pop-Tarts and you get an XP boost for Destiny 2, which was also throttled by this.
Ah, great. So their real brand marketing into this.
Yeah.
Getting fucked by it. And keep in mind, this doesn't apply to things like the Nightfall or the Raid. It applies mostly to those kind of secondary tasks that are easier to grind and repeat. But regardless, the big thing about this is that the other way to get bright engrams is to purchase them with real money. So it feels very much like a, hey, we want you to pay for these instead of grind these out. Even if that wasn't necessarily the intention. So this came out over the week, this past week, I believe, as players have been like Hawkeye watching their experience bars go up and saying like, hey, I sense some shenanigans here. And so Bungie has had a lot of responses to this, and they've also been making a lot of responses just about like the things they want to do with Destiny going forward after their December update, which will release Trials of Osiris on the 5th. On Tuesday, I believe, yeah. This was the response about this specific controversy from Bungie. Our intention was to keep slower-paced activities as rewarding as high-intensity grinding without confusing variations in displayed XP values, but the silent nature of the mechanic betrayed the expectation of transparency that you have for Destiny 2. In a future update, we intend to link these internal and display-only values together for greater consistency and to ensure that when changes are made, they are accurately reflected everywhere we report them. So kind of it doesn't sound like they're going to change the scaling down, but they are going to make it so the numbers that indicate the amount of experience you're earning will be reflective of the actual amount of experience you're earning. How do you feel about this, Tony?
I mean, it's fine that they fixed it. It was kind of shitty that it was there.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know. Personally, I could have gotten a couple more bright engrams, but like, it's fine.
Yeah.
They don't have any benefit to me playing the game or not anyway, you know?
Yeah. I mean, it's more of like the kind of,
as far as like,
it.
business, it's a better business to like not, or at least say like, hey, if you keep doing the same fucking thing over and over again, we're going to throttle your experience. So try not to do the same thing.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of as shitty as it is where like, and this is not nearly as, you know, bad as far as the general consumer is concerned. But there's another thing in Destiny where if you go to a planet and you pick up too many chests in a row, like you stop getting the planetary material out of the chest, like to discourage the player from just running around and grabbing chest and chest and chest and chest and chest. So every once in a while you'll like go and open a chest, you'll get the token, then go find another one right next to it, open it and get like 50 glimmer, and that's it. The problem with that is they also sell a thing for 4,000 glimmer or whatever that just highlights chests on the map for you, which you would think is supposed to encourage you going there and farming that area for chests. But there's specifically a thing in the game that says, hey, no, don't do that.
Yeah. And I think it's just like the transparency of all this, like this not being available information for the player that is kind of the scummy part of it.
Yeah.
If it was more upfront about it, it's like, okay, yeah, I guess, like, you know, we're throttling the experience you're getting. I see that. I guess I'm going to go do something different. Or I can't get chests here anymore. I see that. I'm going to do something different. It's like where the real money part of it comes into play, that it's like...
Yeah, it gets kind of scummy.
Especially with, you know, the whole situation with loot boxes in, because like I think the loot box situation in Destiny 2 is fine. It's whatever. It's not like, it doesn't feel predatory in any way. It just kind of feels like a mostly cosmetic thing off to the side.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they did it well, and they don't really choke you with it.
The only way I say kind of is just because they weren't upfront about it at first. They just like kind of just like let you just find out when you play that game. So that's the only like just the transparency that's been like the whole issue with Destiny 2. It seems like for a while now.
Yeah, for sure. I just like it's also just the real bad worst time to be doing something like this.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, like, it's hard to kind of predict that climate with everything EA is doing wrong with all of their video games currently. But it doesn't reflect well on Bungie, and I know that they're better than that, which is kind of a bummer. But and usually like they were very upfront about the issues with Destiny 1 and addressing them and being better about them and communicating with their community. And it's just like a lot of that feels like it is slipping with the release of Destiny 2. So that's what I mean by saying that I expect more from them, or that they're better than that, just to establish that I'm not like some fucking Redditor on his high horse. But yeah, I like, they addressed a lot of like the kind of future content changes going into 2018 of like, hey, here's how we want to make currency more valuable in this game. Here's how we want to make this game more of something that you can come back to frequently versus like you drop off of it like most folks have done with Destiny 2 until the new content comes out. So
can we talk about that? Like I legitimately don't understand why that game is getting so much hate because of the drop off of it. It seems like, I mean, like, it's not an MMO, so like I don't expect why people expect it to play it forever. But at the same time, it's like people expect it to be that, I guess.
It's because Bungie specifically has said in their marketing that they want, and just in their statements to the community, that they want Destiny 2 to be the game that you can have as a hobby and keep coming back to. But then they've got all these systems that, like, maybe it's not as obvious when you're developing a game, but like, people get their hands on the game and it's just like you run out of stuff, and it's just so at odds with what they wanted to do with Destiny and what they said they were doing with Destiny. And like a lot of the changes that they like were planning on making and that they did end up making to the game were, from their standpoint, in trying to support that, like make it so that it is the game that you can log in and do a thing all the time.
Yeah. And keep in mind, like, they were using, like, hey, we want to make Destiny a hobby that you can lean on. They were using that jargon specifically in their post from this week, talking about the updates going forward. And, like, I don't know. I still feel Destiny 1 has significantly more content than Destiny 2 has significantly more content than Destiny 1 or the Taken King expansion, and definitely Rise of Iron. Like, those were also things that I played for a while and then like eventually stopped playing when I was at a comfortable level with it. But like, I don't think that's a bad thing. I played over 100 hours of Destiny. That's like
right.
3 games I invested that amount of time into this year of all years, and I'm excited to play more of it when there's more new content in December in a week.
So is the problem is that like the content came too easily compared to Destiny 1? Because like it seemed like
a lot of it
Destiny
is
1
that
was like part of a conversation like through like an entire year, even till the Taken King came out. Like everybody kept talking about Destiny constantly.
There are definitely like aspects of the Destiny 2 content that don't seem as like interesting as Destiny 1 stuff. Like I think about like the daily missions that had like secret corridors and things that could lead to an exotic quest and things like that. Those kind of obscure things are still there in that game, but like they're not as interesting, I don't think, and they're not as like conversation worthy. So I think like those water cooler moments are missing from Destiny 2, and I'm pretty sure Bungie had specifically said they wanted it to be easier to access all the content in Destiny 2 versus the first one or its expansions, which is a bit of a bummer, but that's also a thing we could see changing as expansions come out and they kind of reevaluate what they want to do with Destiny 2 going forward. So I don't think it's doom and gloom. I think Destiny 2 is in a much better place than Destiny 1 was, even with its expansions. I don't understand the hate. Like, I've been pretty happy with it. It's not a game I need to play every day. There are dailies to do. It's not a game that I feel the necessity to do. But there are genuine problems with like the currency, and that it's like very easy to get everything that you need very quickly in that game. But like also that's not inherently a bad thing, you know. I've been overall very happy with my Destiny 2 experience. Generally, it seems like you have been as well, Tony.
Yeah, I mean, I've enjoyed it for what it is.
I mean, because I think about like with other games, right? And like when you know like a DLC is coming, you just put it down and you just wait for it. But like Destiny doesn't seem like it gets that benefit, or it gets that luxury.
Yeah,
I just found that to be weird. That's all. I don't know.
And it's interesting because that's, I don't typically play a lot of DLC for games, but that's where I'm at with Destiny 2. I purchased the season pass a couple weeks ago. I'm looking forward to playing, like, first day one on the 5th. I'll be there playing the new story missions and everything. So, yeah, I don't know. Are you, Tony, Scott, are you guys going to go back for the Osiris DLC on the 5th?
No.
Scott?
Probably not.
Okay. So.
No, I'll wait for there to be maybe like probably the big expansion that comes after this one. I'll just pick up both because then there will be enough there for me to justify playing again.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, like I'm curious to see what the new raid thing is. I'm curious to see what they've added and what they've changed. So.
Are you forever on PC now, Tony?
Yeah.
Okay. Hashtag forever PC. But yeah, I don't know. I'm fine with where Destiny is. I would like to see them change things and make it better and make currency more valuable and things like that, which they say they're doing. I also definitely don't want any of this kind of more deceiving or deceptive nature to it in the game, but as a video game, I think it is very good. And I agree, now it feels like it doesn't necessarily get a lot of benefit of the doubt. So, but it's a work in progress. Like, I don't think Destiny 2 is just gonna drop off. I think like they're gonna keep improving and changing and making it better. So, and I'm very curious to see what they put out next September. So, that's it. That's all I got. That's all the news.
Yeah, that's the dest.
That's the dest. How about we take some questions? How's that sound?
Okay.
If you'd like to be a part of the show, you can do so in a variety of ways. You can send us an email, mailsack@irrationalpassions.com. Leave us a voicemail, 404-590-1337. Keep in mind, standard long distance fees do apply. Or, like some of these lovely folks we're about to hear from, you can tweet at IrrationalPod using the hashtag IPQ. We will answer it right here on the show. Trevor Starkey, at Snarky Starkey, in the theme of Final Fantasy 15 conversation, says, with Final Fantasy 15 announcing that they're continuing to add to the game, I'm curious if any of you have been going back to the game or plan to in the future to experience the rest of the story. I think I've said my piece on this. I've said my piece.
Yeah, despite my issues with that game, I did have a good time with it, and I did pay for the season pass for it, so I've always been checking in for it. Like I played both the Gladios and Prompto DLC, and I'm looking forward to Ignis. So yeah,
I didn't even know that you played those two.
I thought I mentioned that.
I think you did mention the Gladio, but I don't remember. Maybe we can have a conversation about it after I play them though.
Okay.
Do a little back and forth.
Sure.
Because I don't know what you think of. I remember maybe you weren't too hot on Gladios, but
yeah, I wasn't too hot on Gladios. Wasn't too hot on Prompto either. But yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing the new content. As for like the 2018 new stuff that they're going to be putting out next year, I will see. Like it depends on the stuff that they put out. I'm definitely curious about an episode about Arden and things like that. What about you, Scott? I know you mentioned that maybe you played on PC. Would you replay that game on PC?
Well, I would have to if
Yeah.
I got it on PC.
Yeah.
I would have to play
I
it.
didn't know if like that was something you were looking to get though, just in general.
Probably later though.
Okay.
I did it with Dark Souls.
Fair
Although this is coming out way later than the Dark Souls port.
Yeah, true. Yeah, that's a good question, Trevor. I'm very excited to see what they're going to be showing off. Cameron Abbott says, "How scared is Alex about what's in my Japanese presentation about him?" And that's at Unsexiest Comedy. Just for context, Cameron tweeted at me this morning. I guess he made a presentation for his Japanese language class, and there's a bunch of pictures of me in it with Japanese subtitles in them. They're pictures of Cameron and myself.
Was it on that Nico feed?
Yeah, it was on that good. I don't know what that means.
Don't worry about it.
I don't know what this is the thing. Can you read this Japanese, Nabashin? Can you translate for me?
Oh, where is it?
It's on Twitter. I can send you a link to this tweet. Maybe Tony could take a look as well. Because, you know, there are these two images with, like, subtitles added on top of them. I don't know what... Cameron could be saying some fucked up shit about me. I don't know. How scared am I? I'm not scared. I'm just concerned. And that's all I got.
All right.
and then that's it. We have one other question at Jake R. Nichols tweeted at us, the dude as he is often known. What Marvel character do you think will die in Avengers 3? Did y'all see that Avengers 3 trailer?
Yeah.
It's real good.
Real good.
What did you? Yeah, I'm curious. What did you think of it, Nabashin? Give me some bonus content thoughts on that Avengers 3 trailer.
Yeah, it's real good. I'm really excited for it. I'm hyped for it, but I'm not like expressing that hype because it is another Marvel movie. But
Yeah.
I'm excited to see it. Very much so.
How do you feel about no helmet Thanos?
Oh man, he's been
all over the internet, huh?
He's been got teared apart.
Yeah.
I think
cool.
you've been tweeted out one of them. That's like, you guys are being savage. Leave Thanos alone.
Leave Thanos alone. I think it looks cool. I like the idea of Thanos not wearing armor because he like doesn't give a fuck. I think that's cool. I just want to talk about Chris Evans, Captain America with a beard forever. Now, also, just by the way, because I love him. Yeah, that image that you just tweeted us has been pretty much the feeling that I've seen. It's very funny though.
He looks so good.
That trailer's hot. I don't know if Scott you saw it, but
Nope.
there's a great Spider-Man suit in that trailer.
Okay.
That is worth seeing. I'll throw that out there.
Random question.
Yeah.
Are you interested to see the Disaster Artist?
No.
Okay.
Because I've never seen The Room, right?
Okay. That was interesting.
I know you're kind of on the hype train for that.
Oh, dude, I'm so excited to see it.
Are you familiar with The Room at all?
Yeah, I've never actually seen The Room in its entirety. I've seen parts of it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm planning to see it for the first time with my friend Tony, and then we're both gonna go see that movie. So that should be fun.
It looks very good. It's just like I have no kind of connection to it really.
Mm-hmm.
I love James Franco and I love Dave Franco, so I think they're probably gonna kill it. And I've heard great things about it. I'll tell you who is excited. My roommate Ethan.
Oh my god!
As you can imagine.
Fuck! Man, I should have talked to Ethan about that before I left.
Yeah, he came in. I think it was 2 nights ago. Down here, is just like talk to me about the Disaster Artist and how excited he is for it for like 10 minutes straight. I'm like, I get it. Anyway, who do you think will die in Avengers 3, if anyone?
Iron Man.
Iron Man. Iron Man's good. I think
That'd
Cap's gonna die. I think both of them will die, but
That would be a good send off. I
character.
think. Yeah, the first one to start and the first one to end.
Yeah. And he's got to get a heroic death for sure. Saving Spider-Man would be like a way to go because of their relationship. So, yeah. Iron Man's good. Captain America is good.
Like, is Vision like the obvious one?
Yeah, they pretty much they tell you all you need to know about what's happening in the Vision in that trailer. I do like the Vision has like skin. Mm-hmm. Like he's gone like full trying to be human, but still with a crystal in his face. But obviously that was kind of set in stone when he had that gem put in his face.
Did you hear that got with the MCU after this point, it's gonna be pretty much like before and after, like Infinity War. Like, there's some stuff that's gonna be before and some stuff that's gonna be after. Mm-hmm. So it's just gonna be weird.
It is gonna be so Captain Marvel set during the 1990s.
Oh, okay.
With a two-eyed Nick Fury, apparently.
Oh, okay.
That is, which sounds cool though. I think that leaves potential for Captain Marvel to show up in Infinity War also. And
I'm really excited to see that one because I know nothing about that superhero and she looks rad. So
yeah. Brie Larson is a great choice in anything, I think. So, I just keep flashing back to Clash of Demon Head. I'm like, hell yeah, I'm down for whatever you're gonna do,
dude. That's so funny too, cause oh god, we're tangenting all over the place.
Hell yeah, we
are. So Mark and Katie were watching Scott Pilgrim versus the World when I went to go see them this last week or whatever, and I remember the last time I saw that movie, it was I don't know if I like this movie anymore, but I was sitting there looking at that movie again, they were in the middle of the movie, right where Chris Evans shows up, and we watched it all the way to the end, and I was laughing, I was like, oh yeah, I really love this movie. I think it's just that I don't like the beginning of that movie anymore, because how I've grown and I just feel like Scott's just a scumbag, so
he totally is,
yeah, so when I was younger, I was more forgiving of that. Now I'm just nah. But but I still like that movie as a total. Still, it's just the beginning part. Part I just don't like.
That movie is so stylish. I don't know if I've seen a movie quite as stylish as that ever. Just it goes for it, and it totally gets it, and I think it still holds up too visually. So, and it's campy and it's fun. Yeah, that's a great movie.
Yeah, I still really do like that movie.
I have to rewatch it at some point. I haven't watched it in years. So, but yeah, I'm totally with you on the way that movie. It's just everything. Every scene with Scott and Knives is just fucking kill me, please, God. So there you go. There's your answer, Jake. Scott, Tony, do you guys have any guesses on who would die in Avengers 3?
It's definitely going to be Iron Man.
I think that's the same.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's a guy who plays him doesn't want to be doing it anymore.
Yeah, Robert Downey Jr. He's been in 20 movies. He's good. Tony, I want to know your take.
I'm the wrong person to ask.
Biggest Marvel Cinematic Universe fan in the world.
Doctor Strange.
I hope not.
He's pretty cool.
Doctor Strange is really cool. Man. I just want to see Doctor Strange interact with all of the Avengers, though. Just seeing him interact with Thor in Thor 3 is fucking so good. I'm very excited about that Avengers movie. Black Panther, though. Fool, man. Cannot get me excited enough. That is it for questions. Thank you, everyone who wrote in. If you would like to follow each of us individually on Twitter, you can follow myself at Alfighter27, Scott at WhatToChuz, Nabishin at NABESHIN186, and Tony at Tony Horvath. Tony Horvath, not Tony Horvath. Sorry about that. Just messed it up real bad.
No, that's fine.
You can follow the site and the show on Twitter at IrrationalPod. Some of the stuff, rate and review us on iTunes, Stitcher, and Google Play. Check out our other shows like Monthly Passions Podcast and Input. Twitch.tv/Irrational Passions and YouTube.com/Irrational Passions are where all of our video stuff is going to be. As an update, got that raw footage from our producer troll from Extra Life this past week, so I'm gonna start cutting that out. My plan is for that to go up through the middle of December. I just kind of have to cut it up a little bit and go from there. So, as a heads up.
I thought Roger was doing it.
No, he wasn't gonna cut up the video.
Okay.
Troll gave me some cuts, but I'm gonna have to recut things just so it's a little bit more consistent with the segments that we did.
Sure.
But I've got it all without breaks pretty much. So the goal is for that to kind of go up the middle 2 weeks of December. So, and then that'll roll right into our Game of the Year content. So that'll be on youtube.com/irrationalpassions. If you like the show, tell your friends about it. Word of mouth is the best way to spread the love. And for everything else, Irrational Passions, irrationalpassions.com. Now, normally this would be time for bets, but I don't think we need to make any bets because next week are our final bets on the Game Awards. This coming Thursday, the Game Awards will be live. Should we do no, we're not going to do a thing where we watch it.
No.
But we'll talk about it. It's Thursday, so we will talk about it on Friday next week. If you have thoughts.
Are we just expected to watch it on our own?
Yeah, I mean, if you want to get like a viewing party
You're
together,
expected.
we could do that.
All right, because I think I'd rather do that.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to force.
Scott
you
would completely
necessarily.
forget about it.
And then we will, I guess, the PSX, whatever they're doing situation is Friday as well, next Friday as well. So we'll have a lot of news to talk about next week, presumably. As a couple of things to close out. Reminder, if you want to be a part of our Game of the Year content, we are doing something a little bit different this year. Feel free to reach out to me. On Twitter would be preferred, or email alex@irrationalpassions.com. If you'd like to kind of know a little bit more about that. Again, I'm trying to keep it a little bit on the down low for now, but I would definitely love to get as many different voices as possible. There is going to be a special article going up on Tuesday, the same day as this audio version of this podcast. I don't want to say what it is yet. It is going to be a surprise. But if you know me, and you know what I've been doing for a long time now, it is related. So, that'll be up
Right.
on
Come see the first official Alex O'Neill pornography film.
on
So doing it for a long time?
Yeah.
Bringing it over.
And I think that's it, housekeeping wise. We're still figuring out Game of the Year stuff, but I would anticipate I have a rough schedule in mind. Things starting to go up at the end of December, and then going through the first couple weeks of January. So, we're in that season. So, do we want to see if we can solicit people's top tens or listeners' top tens?
You said you specifically weren't going to do that.
Not like.
Yeah, come on, dude.
Not guest podcast top tens, listeners if they want to write it in for our Game of the Year show.
Oh, I would like that. Just to hear.
I see.
So, like, because I think what we'll do is that podcast that we do for the first week of January, like our normal episode, numbered episode, that week will be all of our roundtable top tens, like we did last year. So I like that. Maybe we could read some listener ones on that as well. So we can like select.
I think it's a bad idea.
All right, Scott hates all of you, is what we're saying. No, I'm just kidding, Scott. I'm not putting words in your mouth. We can if we do solicit that at all, I would say we would do it closer. I just wanted to throw the idea out there. All right, that's the show. That's all I got. How you guys feeling?
Great.
This was a good show. I feel like we got a lot of Tony this episode.
Hey, baby.
Hey, baby. Thank you, Danny Wiesner, for opening music of Two Player Co-op and our closing music of The World Is Saved, respectively. If you haven't listened to that, you should. Thank you, Scott. Thank you, Tony. Thank you, Nabishin, for joining me. As always, I love you guys. Winky face.
Gross.
Thank you, everybody, for listening. We love you all very, very much. Excited to show you what we've been working on, what the writers have been working on, especially for Game of the Year. Some exciting stuff coming. But until then, I've been your host, Alex O'Neill. Play your games. Stay irrational. We will talk to you all next week.
Titles?
Titles?
Week one this week.
Scott, did you open your cookie? Are you a tamer? Rah rah, fuck Nazis. The VR sweats. The Big Silence, and Cereal Box Amiibo.
I don't know. I like these knobs. They're heartwarming. Oh, the Big Silence was when I did the news thing, huh?
I'm a cereal box amiibo.
It worked last week, right?
Hmm.
Did the news work last week? The news
Yeah.
theme? Yeah, huh. I don't think I changed anything.
This is the first thing term I've heard it. That's why I pointed it out.
Fucking weird. I like Cereal Box Amiibo as well.
Okay, I'm into it.
Give me 1 second. Sorry, I'm figuring out the schedule is for this other podcast I'm doing right after this one. Scott, are you okay with Cereal Box Amiibo?
Yeah, I was wondering if you were actually just going to go with it without asking. And I was like, come on, do it. And you just disappointed me.
I'm sorry. I'm a constant disappointment to you, Scott, though, in my defense.
My vote doesn't matter anymore.
Well, I still like your
It is the perfect time for you to say 3v1, fuck you, Scott, even if you're with us.
True enough. You would do it to me. I should really respect your wishes. Navashin, do you want to say the title? I'll say the number.
Sure.
You are listening to Irrational Passions Podcast, episode 356.
Cereal box amiibo.
Ba-dum-bum-ba-dum-bum. You can stop recording now. Thank you, everybody, for watching live. We appreciate you all. I know you're there, Cameron.
Bye.
Cameron watching us. I love you. Bye.